Welcome to the 6th day of FDP on Advanced Technology for Efficiency and Sustainability. Good evening, respected dignitaries, resource person and faculty members. Now I would like to introduce today's resource person, Dr. V. Nageswara garu. Dr. V. Nageswara garu completed the Doctor of Philosophy in the field of IC Engines from Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University, Hyderabad, JNTH, India. MTech from JNTU Anantapur and Bachelor of Engineering in Mechanical Engineering from Usmania University, Hyderabad, India. Currently working as a professor in Department of Mechanical Engineering and Joint Dean PCF Vignan's Foundation of Science and Technology and Research deemed to be University. Also guiding 5 research scholars. Overall experience as 20 years including 6 years on innovation, entrepreneurship and startup activities. Projects completed or EDP by DST, NIMET and NRTC project worth of 6 lakhs. Ongoing project is co-buy of ITBI, DST, NIDHI worth of 4.5 crore. Total patents filed and published are 3. Number of startups supported and mentored are 12. Number of invited lectures on innovation entrepreneurship are 9. Acted for jury member for seed funding or ideathons are 10. Reviewer for journals or 6. Number of scholars pursuing PhD 4 and 1 awarded. Total journals or 36. Total conferences are 20, national and international. Number of workshops attended are 25. Number of programs organized are 99. Total book chapters are 6. Best Teacher Awards are got 7 times. International Best Research Award 2022 by ISN Academy Trichy. Total subjects taught are 18 subjects. Course era 3 certificates, 1 about nanosensor technology. Now I would like to hand over this session to the Dr. V. Nageswara garu. Please, sir.
Very good afternoon to one and all the participants, especially from both the states of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, also from the other participants from various parts of the India. I once again welcome you for this 6-day online faculty development program on advanced technologies for energy efficiency and sustainability, which is a week-long program and sponsored by AICT under Atal scheme. I myself feel it is an honor for me to be part of a resource person of this renowned program, which is meticulously planned by the coordinator Dr. J. Ponsai and co-coordinator Abdul Munsafji. Also extend my heartfelt thanks to the management of these Sri Datta institutions, principal and our heads of the departments, all my co-faculty members. Let me have the session on today's topic, renewable energy technologies and integration. Before that, I once again have my brief introduction along with my institutor. Basically, I'm Professor Nageswara, having 20 years of experience in teaching, which includes part of research and other 7 years of experience in innovation, entrepreneurship and startup activities, where I built a lot of ecosystem at our Vignan University as Director for Entrepreneurship Cell. Also, recently we got the DST Nidhi funded project, which is 4.5 crores, with which we have set up an incubation center. The reason which I wanted to tell, it is the highly accredited university in the Telugu states. Perhaps this is that is US ABET accreditation. And also the NAC A+, NIRF 72 rank. We have a lot of other accolades to this university. So with this, I wanted to be with you for this another 1.5 hour session, where we would like to go on a couple of things, which I really would like to focus so that I will continue on that. This is a brief, I think, about myself as well as institute. So in this renewable energy technologies and integration, my focus particularly with reference to our nation and government mission, also little bit of practices which we supposed to maybe required to adapt from other nations in the globe, particularly the advanced countries like Canada, other countries. Let us go through this session. First, if you see that the energy, first of all, what is energy? As a teachers, we all know the energy, particularly from the Department of Mechanical Engineering. We are the authorized people to speak more and more about energy, because to do something, that is the foremost initial thing which is required to play any task. So we are the people to talk, once again I can say proudly, about energy. So basically this energy, we have two types. All of us know, that is non-renewable and renewable. So we are aware of that. Most of our day-to-day life, particularly in our country, even today, depending upon the non-renewable sources. So these non-renewable sources are particularly like fossil fuels, which are all almost going to deplete. But the major concern is the environment. So we all know nowadays the importance of environment to protect our nature, earth, everything. By the way, as a developing country, to be developed country in near future, we have a lot of responsibility to play a role on energy utilization and the types of energy which we are trying to utilize for our day-to-day needs and other purposes. So these non-renewable sources, okay, as I told, most of these fossil fuels, coal, like petroleum products, and natural gas, all petroleum products. So these are the major sources even today also. But somehow it is the time to certainly and drastically to reduce all these type of consumptions. Renewable energies. Almost for last 50 years, we have been talking about these renewable energy sources, but the practically the real emphasis done in the recent decades, particularly after 2000, we started to move towards these renewable practices mostly. The sources are existing, but we move toward the direction. And also the other sources. So probably the major source is sunlight, that is solar energy. But not only the solar energy, the renewable sources are the other energies also. The energy from the wind, the energy from the water in many ways, like through dams, projects, also through ocean. In ocean, again, we have kind of setups, right? Also, the mostly we may not aware and not being practiced in a big way, that is geothermal energy. Of course, recent days, a lot of focus on waste to energy, right? Biomass, which is also in practice in certain applications. So all these resources, especially these renewable energy sources, application wise, we have in a different way of priorities. So if you see that nowadays, in the recent decade especially, India is playing a big role on solar energy and its integration of various applications in our country. Also later we have the more from hydraulic energy. So these are all at its own level of contribution. So by integrating all these things, we are performing our day-to-day activities, their industrial needs and commercial aspects, and many other applications, particularly agricultural, medicine, um, thermal power plants, and food applications. I mean, food technologies. So whatnot, we have several other applications like through various for our utility purpose also day-to-day life, maybe water heating or air conditioning. We all sort of applications today almost we have been practicing through these renewable sources. For me, the motivation is, of course, there are several practical reasons to deploy the renewable energies. Primarily, reduced greenhouse gases emissions and air pollution. These are the major concerns which I told even at the beginning. Also, the other because nowadays economy, particularly Indian economy, is a very typical aspect nowadays. So it's playing its own role, as we already targeted the $5 trillion economy in the shortest near the days. So in that way, whatever we are trying to integrate and adopt, we have to keep in mind the India's mission. That means government of India had its objective, mission, goal. So we have to have a clear-cut vision about the cost analysis, particularly in the energy side, cost savings, right? Also, we know the insure against this volatile fuel prices. Of course, fortunately for the last few years, mostly fuel prices under a stable condition, but we're not sure how long it is stable because the fossil fuel prices, this is non-renewable. So these fuel prices, fossil fuels, very volatile. We all know that we experienced it sometimes in India because we are majorly depending upon we are importing. Mostly we are depending on imports. That is one. These are all the motivations to draw me to talk about these renewable energy sources and integrations. If we have some pictorial way of representation, these are all the kinds of renewable energy production units in the form of wind, solar collectors, waste energy, biomass, tidal. So we have several other sources. So in that solar major energy which is in practice, right from the small application to till the thermal power plant applications. So where people are almost nowadays familiar about these solar applications. Okay, people still we can even recollect. It's not that we are teaching what is solar power, but we can recollect what is this solar power, right? It is the best renewable energy source. We all know that because it is very clean and green. It's abundantly available. Okay, so that's why it is just how we are using this solar energy. It is a natural, highly available power, solar energy, right, through sun radiation. By harnessing the sun radiation towards production of this electricity, right, directly we are producing by using these photovoltaic cells. So in this process, we have photovoltaic cells, solar collectors, right? In that through that mechanism, we are trying to generate the electricity for our applications, right from the domestic lamp to the high-end applications like power plants, as I already told. So in which the solar thermal collector, which plays a major role, right? So broadly, we have two types of thermal collectors. Okay, one category is non-concentrating, other category is concentrating. This non-concentrating, this flat plate and evacuated tube type. So concentrating are this parabolic, like point focus parabolic collectors. These are the majorly two types of collectors which we use other than these PV cells. You see the electric power generation applications. So see some of those are if you see this is flat plate photovoltaic cell, right? This is the parabolic but line contact, right? This is for focus contact, right? These are various ways of harnessing the solar power. By the way, we are producing the electricity. We have different types of solar collectors for display at various locations where we form. You can see this first one, parabolic concentrator, but compound type, right? This is simple and basic collector, that is flat plate collector. This is a parabolic throw concentrator, right? This is the evacuated tube collector, right? We can have that applications in our day-to-day life. Not only this regular water heating purpose, electric generation, cooking purpose. Not only these, also we have heat pipe applications, right? We see this. This is our regular passive water heating system, where we have this mostly flat plate collectors. We use this. So this is what we initially succeeded. So slowly we are growing and moving forward and integrating these technologies towards daily needs. If you see, this is the evacuated right tube where we are trapping this right radiation through this vacuum, and this is the application of water heating. Right, this is also application of water heating. This is also application of water heating. So these are the ways to harness the solar power to get serve your purpose. So this is if you see some kind of heat pipe. Okay. So where we are harnessing the sun energy, right? So this is how the hot vapor rises to the top side, right? Cold vapor and this bottom side. So this is how, due to this density variations, the flow happens here and there, top to bottom. Especially what has impressed me mostly the recent days, the government of India has been putting a lot of efforts by keeping in mind about this environment concern. By the way, the in turn it reflects the Indian economy and other employment generation. This is all kind of um, all round cycle impact is in all round way. It's not that if you put one side and it leads to other side of benefits, right? You know that in recent years government is accelerating its right efforts towards in a different ministry of right this uh, transportation and Ministry of Energy. They are coming up with, I think recently we have developed this first high power hydrogen engine in Indian Railway. So they are putting a lot of efforts towards this green. The objective is to bring 50% of the country's cumulative installed power generation capacity to mostly from these renewable sources, right? That is non-fossil fuels. They have put the target by 2030. Also, by 2070, we wanted to see the net zero emissions. This is what the goal set by the government of India. Accordingly, they are putting their efforts through these policies, right? So I think in that way, recently the government went and announced this Surya Ghar scheme, solar rooftop solar systems, where they have offered a lot of subsidies to encourage the people about the consumption of non-renewable sources. I think all of us are aware of this scheme, and still, of course, it is in the acceleration stage, right? Particularly the 23 in because of that 23% increase in per kilowatt central financial assistance because up to 3 kilowatt power they are giving some subsidies for this solar rooftop, right? We see by the April 24. So the total installed capacity of renewable energy sources, right, renewable means including hydropower, is about 191.67 gigawatt. See, also in non-renewable, all are the different wings, right? Which contribution is like this? Each contribution capacities. The solar power alone, 82.63 gigawatt. Wind power, 46.16 gigawatt. Biomass and cogeneration, 10.35 gigawatt. Small hydropower, 5 gigawatts. Waste to energy, as I already told, it is in now practice. The waste energy conversion schemes, particularly I think one of our resource persons, Jindal sir, they are doing a lot of right work on this waste to energy conversion, like that. So this what we have already the major power generation is through large hydro stations, that is 46 gigawatts. So like that. You see, India aiming to have 500 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity by this 2030. In that way, already India, right from the 2015, they have been setting up the solar plants at various states and mean suitable locations of this country. Very simple. The source means that is how we are integrating these solar technologies towards the benefit of mankind, ultimately to conserve the energy and to save the environment. By the way, ultimately people will get benefit. So the first largest solar plant established Bhadla Solar Park, which is spread across 56 square kilometers in Rajasthan. Right? I think it is in 23, and the capacity is more than 2055 megawatt. Such a largest, just I told you in 2015, right? Started. And the second one is near our nearby state, that is at Karnataka, Tumkur district. It has about 53 square kilometers. This is the second largest solar power plant in India. And global wise, it is the third largest also. So that is how recently we keep moving to achieve all these goals. And it is also, though it is second one, almost it is also equivalent to the first. But anyway, second is second, that's it. So it is also offering about 2000 megawatt, right? It is recently in 2019, they established it. And the investment, that time it is about 40,800 crores, right? So this is the kind of encouragement towards integrating these renewable energy technologies towards the power generation. And the third one, it is in our state only, Anantapur. So, Andhra Pradesh is natural advantages are more in Andhra Pradesh, particularly having a lot of coastal region. Also, part of the region like Anantapur, some Rayalaseema district, lot of sunny areas. So, these demographic benefits also sometimes advantages to make use of this kind of opportunities. So that is the reason the third largest ultra mega solar park. This is at Anantapur, right? So it is just spread across, of course, compared to previous one, it is a bit low of the range, 32 kilometers, right? So it is the third largest. And the fourth one, it is also again in Andhra Pradesh. See, as I told you, that is the source for a lot of solar energy, the Rayalaseema region. So it is again in the Kurnool Ultra Mega Solar. These are all established at the time, 2019. So this is about 1000 megawatt power generation. Right? So it's spread across 5,000, 6,000 acres almost. This is the fourth largest. And that means out of these 10 almost, we have three in our Andhra Pradesh, right? The fifth largest is that is NP Kunta Ultra Mega Solar Park. That is right in our Andhra Pradesh. This is also nearly 1,000 megawatt. Of course, exactly it is 978 means it is also you can understand 1,000 megawatt plant having 7,000 8,000 acres approximately. Right? So there are like that out of this 10, the three are in or Andhra Pradesh itself, based on this advantage. And the sixth largest is that is Reva Ultra Mega Solar Plant. It's at Madhya Pradesh. So it generates 750 megawatts, right? Compared to our plants, it is bit low. Also, the area wise also above the land almost it is 1,590 acres, right? Ours earlier thousands, right? So the seventh one is at Kamthi Solar Power Project, Tamil Nadu. It is also 648 megawatt, but it's spread across 10 square kilometer. The eighth one is right Mansar Solar Park. It is also in Madhya Pradesh, 600 megawatt, 2 square kilometers spread across. Because it needs a lot of area, especially the people who have already had an idea, demographic idea of this Rayalaseema, especially Anantapur region. There is a huge space which is empty. So that is the advantage for them to set up this kind of plants. The ninth one is the largest plant that is then the Badla first, that is now it is the second phase, Rajasthan. So they targeted about, earlier it was targeting 2,000 above megawatt, right, by 2055 something. In the second phase, they targeted another one about 500 megawatt, that is above, across 4,400 acres. The 10th one is in Gujarat. So in the Gujarat, identifying place is really very tough. So anyway, one solar park is essential in that coastal region. Somehow they established one 500 megawatt, which spread across 20 kilometers. Of course, they have allotted a lot of area. So, if you see the renewable energy market overview, so in the market overview, so in terms of because normally the revenues and all we assess in terms of dollars, right? So that is the reason. It's a renewable energy market says they valued it is about 21.1 billion US dollars in the year 2022, right? So again, it's projected to grow about 46 by 2032. These are the projections. Okay, whatever we already seen, that is $21 billion US dollars. The projections for 2032 to see that $46.7 billion, right? So this is exhibiting a compound annual growth rate (CAGR) of 8.77% during the forecast period 2023 to 2032. So it is all raising awareness, as we keeps telling environment like that. Keep creating the awareness to people about this environmental issues, right? And all these things we have to anticipate, and like that we can increase the market potential in India. So this is what one of the resources. Also, if you see worldwide, the energy supply for our period, if you see, right from the 1900 to this almost 1 century, they have taken this. So if you see that, of course, anyway, initially there was no such awareness as I already told, but if you see on particularly movement, if you see 2020, we almost reached to peak of the fossil fuel consumptions. 2020. Even now, we are still at peak of fossil fuel consumption, still, right? But see what Indian government targeted by 2032. So if you see, by the time it starts declining this kind of approach, depending upon the fossil fuels, such that see the increasing of contribution of these renewable energy sources. So that is the magic, in fact, the way people plan. So in future, we are almost shifting. Of course, particularly Andhra Pradesh is witness the way people have been adapting this solar energy consumption right from the village level to other sectors. It's really nowadays uh, truly commendable, right? So certainly we can believe it will happen. It's not any exaggerated figures. So I believe it will happen. And this Indian market, if you see right from the year 2018 to current year, okay, uh, from 20 to 24, even 25. So it is slowly growing market. Till 19, it was very low. Right? So these are all the kind of four fruits yielded by the efforts, right, taken by the policymakers and other people. So if you see the market size, I don't know, this is 21.1 US dollars. 21, but within 10 years, it will be doubled almost more than. By 2032, the market size will be 46.7 US dollars. This is the one thing we have to notice. The current scenario, if you see, nearly 13 gigawatt renewable energy added in the year 2023. So that means India is the fourth largest in wind power and fifth largest in solar power, right? So India's rank in this climate change performance index, if you see, in 2014 it was 31st rank. Now it is reached to almost the seventh rank by 2030, whatever objective we put. That means Indian solar capacity increased to 1.6 gigawatt to 63 gigawatt by 2022. So in the previous slide, we told suddenly in 2023 itself they added 37 gigawatts. So this is because of setting up of some solar parks in India. Almost 51 solar parks established so far, right? But we have shown only top 10, but 51 solar parks established in India in the recent. So with this, when the 2023 itself just suddenly added the 37 gigawatt. So by the way, it is reached to 63 to 37. You have to add, right? That means Prime Minister of India predicts the significant growth in India's solar energy sector. These are the statistics where we collected from this government sources. And primarily, if you see the worldwide energy consumption, so right, of the percentages we are depending on the coal and other, see the small portion, right, nuclear, but majority still natural crude oil and this coal, the majority. Next comes renewable, this natural gas, right? Like there are some petroleum products, somehow we are depending still on petroleum products across the globe. See, this is the actually this graph shows installed capacity of renewable energy in India. Right, this is installed capacity. Solar power, 2,180 meg, right? Installed capacity. Small hydropower, 3,763. Biomass just 1284. Because biomass, right? Still we are moving. Though it was started long ago, but still we are moving based on its because we have a lot of other constraints about this biomass production. So solar and wind are very straightforward sources, abundant sources. That's how we keep moving. And other sources, waste to waste, already I mentioned. Recently, this concept is just coined, almost encouraging, especially to the by providing a lot of research projects to the academic institutes, researchers. Even our faculty group can concentrate on it, where we can see some benefit. I am so happy. One of our resource persons, I think you offered from Jindal in this area, so participants and other people can also get benefit out of it, right? See the wind power, we have more than 20,000 megawatts together. We are playing a big role. This is some of one of our scholars, researchers, predictions, statistics they provided from this publication where I have collected, right? See, the geothermal is still at a very almost some 0.3% is just still not even 1%. That means geothermal concept, it's very complicated, of course, but we have to depend on all these things to eradicate the problems which are causing disturbance to this environment. See what I told, those 51 solar parks, right, which are all happened in a decade, right? So something if you wanted to achieve, definitely we must have a plan. Just like that, nothing will happen. So to what we became fourth largest in wind power means, just like that, it was not happen. They keep installing all these solar parks. By the way, we reach to have that kind of production. You see, the megawatts wise, Gujarat itself, right, there are 7 parks. The Rajasthan, 9 parks. Andhra Pradesh itself, 5 parks. But the beauty of Andhra Pradesh is out of 5, 3 are the biggest parks, right? Top 10, out of top 10, 3. And Uttar Pradesh, 7 units, right? Here, if you see the production also like that, you have to see rather number of parks, the production. In Gujarat, together 7 producing 12,000 megawatt, of course, roughly. If you see, even 9 parks at Rajasthan, 8,000. But in Andhra Pradesh, 5 parks, 4,000, right? And Madhya Pradesh, 8 parks, 4,000, right? So like that, we have each state, Karnataka 2, Jharkhand 3, Maharashtra 3, even Odisha 3, Kerala 2. Okay, other countries like Chhattisgarh and Mizoram 1 1. Like that, by setting up of these right solar parks. So this is how the solar energy harnessed and try to produce the energy and what we have seen the energy impact and all these things. So wind is a very clean energy. It's a very right friendly source. In fact, clean and friendly source. Right. So here, people still we can recollect what is this wind power, right? So wind is just stabilization of movement of the air, right? Here between high and low atmospheric pressures because any fluid air, not only fluid, even all these things like power, fluid, temperature, heat, all these things, it has its own trend moving from high to low. That means electricity from high voltage to low voltage, fluid from high pressure to low pressure, right? Like that, even heat from high temperature to low temperature, all this have its own tendency, right? Like that, some uneven heating of the earth surfaces, land, water, and air. So, right, that where we are harnessing those heat source. Ultimately, heat is the source. We all know that. Right? That's how what we say. Even example, if your participants ask me a question, sir, what can you do after your 25 years of experience? Because you are almost spend your time in these academics and other aspects. Would you like to end up with this same kind of thing? A person like me can answer in different way, right? No, guys, we have a lot of heat still, so I want to do much more in future. That is the power of heat. So heat is one, which is the basic thing. Wherever the heat is available, we can make something out of that. That is the heat. So here the greater pressure difference between the areas, the harder the wind blows, and also exists as the circulation of air around a higher low pressure areas. Anyway, this is how the wind flow exists, and uneven heat surfaces can also be identified by the way we are harnessing the energy. So almost all energy except the tidal and geothermal power ultimately source of sun, right? Even we are calling it is wind, but source is sun only. Sun is the backbone to create all these things. We see that the Earth receives almost 1.74 into 10 power 11 watts of power per hour from the sun. So this is what we have to notice. Such a huge amount of power is being reached to the Earth's surface. Right. About 1 or 2% of this energy is converted to wind energy. Okay. So only see how much we are, just 1 or 2% we are converting. If we go back to our previous thought slides, whatever policies adopted, established the past, that means these are all to harness that available. Plenty is available, but only less we are making out of the plenty. So, if you see here, 52 more than the energy converted to biomass by all plants on Earth. Differential heating of the Earth's surface and atmosphere induces vertical and horizontal air currents that are affected by the Earth's rotation and contours of the land. Okay. It is what the land sea breeze cycle. We know this land sea breeze cycle, how the like our convection currents, in fact, right? So there the convection currents will set up. So by the way the heat circulates and the loop will be formed. So like that we have sometimes vertical movement and sometimes horizontal movements. So that is what we observe and we have to harness. So what is this wind energy, right? Okay. Ultimately, our major focus, right? Our major focus is to convert it as uh, electric power. That is what our goal ultimately. Our ultimate aim is to convert it as electricity. So here, whatever electricity is produced through this wind, right? We send it to the ultimately after generated to the transformers, right, and power grid via these transmission lines. So our high target always to produce the electricity, of course, and rest we can use for multi-purpose based on that. Some of you still, of course, all of you aware, but still, I wanted to just recollect why wind energy example. It's also very clean energy, right? Zero emissions, quality, and these contents like NOx, SOx, CO, and all these advantage factors if we are able to harness the wind power. Also, obviously, whatever renewable we are trying to adopt, it leads to reduction of this fossil fuel dependency. Right? We will achieve a lot of energy independence. In fact, right? Domestic energy, and finally national security. This is what we keep talking even right from the beginning of my slide. Whatever I try to speak by keeping in mind our nation, and that is the policies by government of India. Together, we have to achieve something for the benefit of mankind of this nation ultimately. That is the motto. And these are all what are all challenges we already discussed. Again, same, we repeat almost, right? Fuels prices are volatile. So with this, we can just often I say to my students in classroom also, particularly while going through this technologies, particularly I am from innovation and entrepreneurship domain, where I have taken a lot of care in that sector. Of course, apart from my teaching stuff and other research involvement, I definitely, with a lot of concern, I boldly say to my students, innovation. See, it's not that innovation we are newly coining. Of course, it is the buzzword nowadays. Even the mankind themselves, right from the birth, they are innovators. It's not that today we all right graduated in various technologies, including latest technology AI, right? But before that, even people never been graduated or almost remained as illiterate, but they are still innovators. This is what if you see this historical overview, this video of over 3,000 years, right? There 3,000 years, imagine 3,000 years, right? This is 2024. That means before we go back another 80 years, right? So this is how people being used. They know, we know the civilization evolving of this life cycle and all. Like that, wind also were an important part of the life for many communities. I mean, I know that even I can trust this statement because initially mankind depended to have the water and all this. For that purpose, they initially developed all these things. That means even 1200 BC, right? That means it is about 1200 to this 2000, and like that, about the 3000. That's what they mentioned. So wind was first used for electricity in this 19th century, of course. But harnessing wind energy in different forms. You know how they by rope and pulley technologies. They used to have even BCs. So some of these setups ancient days for their day-to-day purpose. We see the version. Even we have this kind of setups in our old movies also to have the water in that hill area somewhere, depending on this kind of windmills. So some of this just for this, right. So coming to this windmill design is the major challenge and job being a mechanical engineer, right? So windmill captures wind energy and through generator it converts electrical energy. It's very simple from the kinetic energy to electrical energy. This is the phase. So whatever kinetic energy wind in turn converts into mechanical energy and through generator it converts into electrical energy. That's what. That is the reason here to design a windmill. You have to take care of first about that windmill means the part turbine. Right. It is a kind of turbine. Windmill also a kind of, that's why we call it as wind turbine. Right. The whole station we call windmill. But typically, whatever you rotate, that is the part we have turbine, where the major thing design of the turbine and what is the size of generator you are integrating. So that is what more important. So one should take care of the turbine blades design. They have to highly take care of the turbine blade design and the gearbox and also the size of the generator. So this is how the connections, right? See, this is the generator, right? This is the gearbox, right? And this is the rotor and other blades. Okay. So this is the typical setup. Coming to this wind turbines, we have, of course, anything we have classified large, small, medium, like that. Right? Here also, if you see the large turbines, right? So this is one kind where it is able to deliver electricity at lower cost than the smaller turbines. That's why we go for large turbines because with low investment, right, the maximum power can be generated, right? It is basically suited for offshore wind plants, especially suited for offshore wind plants, where it is difficult to find sites. So one large turbine and a tall tower uses the wind extremely efficiently. So we prefer these for offshore, right? And small turbines. Of course, we also have a small turbines, right? Um, these local electrical grids may not be handle this, right? Large electrical output from the large turbines. So that's why it is all based on the applications and availability, whether large or small. To see that kind of synchronization, right? There are certain advantages for both the things. That's why even still we depend on this small turbines also. See, this is how here we mentioned the pros and cons of the turbines, right? If you see omnidirectional, right? This is one set of turbine. That means omnidirectional means it will catch any wind, any direction of wind. That's why it is called omni uh, directional. And components can be mounted at ground level, right? Nowadays, earlier in olden days, everything on the top of that windmill, but nowadays it is almost the improved technologies can include most of the things. Example for maintenance purpose by keeping all these factors, right? Um, we can. Also, coming to the tower, it looks very high, but these are all very lightweight towers. This is an advantage. Okay. And coming to this, some kind of objections or constraints. Okay. Um, the kind of turbines. So it should be away from the public movement or animal or birds. This is the one we have to consider. Also, because of the centrifugal force, the blades may cause kind of wear or something. Right? In the particular torque, initial torque, we have to initially give a lot of torque to start this. That is one more thing, challenge. Okay. Uh, and if any problem arises, this is the biggest problem. You have to remove the entire rotor, right? Have to overhaul and replace that. Okay. So wind turbines very costly, but only advantage it can be at very remote level. It will run on its own, the maintenance and other these things. But once it's a breakdown or something, you have to face a lot of challenges with this wind, tur- wind turbines. So some types of like classification, like one blade, two blade, three blade, like that, right? So, but nowadays all are three blade designs only. Okay, because of the mill has a lot of stability, right? Um, you see, this is actually wind power generator, right? So this is because generator is the one ultimately converts this mechanical energy of this windmill to electrical energy. Okay, and that's why it is attached to one end of the wind turbine where the mechanical energy produces, just like any of our generator. Though it is wind turbine generator, but just like any of our turbines where we couple even diesel generator like that. But definitely, generator always requires some cooling system because after rotation, it creates a lot of heat energy, dissipates on the surface, and that's why. Okay, coming to the small generators, right? So it is very simple. Since it is very small, it requires very right a small force. Okay, but the outputs also very small. Okay, also these will have very less efficient. Okay, because it also captures very small amount of energy. Large generators are very efficient at high wind speeds, but If it is low wind, that's what each of its kind has its own advantages. Example, if it is large, it can produce large amount of power when large amount of wind is arrived. Right. If there are moderate wind blow or something, there is no use of such large wind turbines. So these are all supposed to set up based on the pre-survey and that demographic advantages. Also, we have to take care of other design parameters, right? So that's what demographic situations I told you, the surface conditions, what is that altitude levels and all. Okay. So if we're dealing with energy, we are concentrated with the surface winds also. What is that? Sometimes wind moves on the surface, right? So wind turbine obtains its power input by converting force of the wind into a torque, right? Obviously, because once the kinetic energy converting through this rotor and that torque, whatever is getting produced, will be formed into a mechanical through that rotor blades. Here, this point is important as the amount of power generates through this wind turbine particularly depends on density of the air, right? The rotor area and the wind speed. These are the major three parameters. Based on this, the wind power generates. Always the kinetic energy of this rotor, okay, moving body, proportional to its mass. That means the kinetic energy in the wind depends on the density of the air. If the air density is very high, right, it has a lot of mass for interval. And other words, if the very small kind of density, definitely the production also, because mass of air will be less. It affects on the rotation. That is, so this is one general calculation suggestion. That is, if you see at 15 degrees centigrade, right, the density about 1.225. Normally, what is the density of our air at 27 degrees centigrade on Earth's surface? It is 1.00 something, right? That is the density. But at 15 degrees centigrade, if we have 1.225 kg per meter cube, okay. Mm, of course, if the humidity increases, the density also decreases. So, like that, the windmills, okay, modern windmills nowadays attain almost 60% of this power. The power in wind is always proportional to the cubic rate of velocity. Okay, it's not it's proportional to v square v cube. That means it is power of cube v cube. That is the relation between the wind power towards the wind speed. Some cost, because cost is always essential, right? For example, if you wanted to establish 600 kilowatt turbine, see, it is about 450,000, 450,000, right, dollars. Okay. Excluding installation cost. Installation costs are again $1,25,000. Okay. Put together, in order to establish 600 kilowatt wind turbine, it is about $5,75,000 money is required. Okay. That means about 6 crores in our, right. That is what. And the average price for large modern wind farms is about $1,000 per kilowatt electric power. Right? This is per kilowatt power. It is about $1,000 average. Okay, if you see that modern wind turbines designed to work for some 1,20,000 hours of operations. Okay, so if you see the means the lifetime is important to before designing any machine or equipment. It is another important factor. So its lifetime is right 20 years, but that is theoretically we offer. Practically, they suggested it is about 13.7 like that. Okay, Maintenance cost always some 1 or 2%, 1.5 to 2% of the original cost per year. See, based on the sizes, small means these are the applications, remote applications, farms, homes. I told people use it to agricultural, taking some water, some purpose. These are small, less than 10 kilowatt. Middle, this is about wind power, wind, right? So some kind of wind energy we create. So that's what. Large is always up to megawatts, right? Central station wind farms, distributed power, community wind. So this is at government level example. If you see, the large is about at government level, even the small and medium at our level. I mean, so this is the wind power potential across the country. If you see, uh, potential is about 3 lakh 2,251 megawatt, 3 lakh 2,251 megawatt potential is there. But the installed capacity is 8,000 megawatt, right? As on 2020, actually. Like solar parks, we also have some wind parks, I mean windmills. Windmills means wind plants, power plants across the country. You see, the first one is Tamil Nadu. That is about 1500 megawatt. So that means from Tamil Nadu, we get the power of 1500 megawatt through wind, very high. And Jaisalmer, it's Rajasthan, it is about 1000, 1100 roughly, you can assume. Right? That is the second. Next, Brahmanvale wind part, Maharashtra. This is 500 only. Right? Next, another one, Sangli, it is 278. And another one is the Maharashtra. So a lot of windmills in Maharashtra, like solar parks in Andhra Pradesh. Of course, these are all small things put together. In Maharashtra, again, 1,011, 1,200. Okay. So put together, it is about 1,200 Maharashtra producing the wind power, right? And other Andhra Pradesh, we have 100, Belgappa, right? It is, I think, nearby. It is in Anantapur district, Andhra Pradesh. It's Belgappa, maybe Karnataka border. This is and other Anantapur wind park. Maybe it is Ramagiri or something, right? Nearby Tadipatri. Maybe this is the another Anantapur wind Namagal. Maybe nearby that area, Ramagiri. There are a lot of windmills in Ramagiri. So these are the wind power, right? So each state where it is represented, like Gujarat, potentiality. These are all just potentiality, but out of that, how much they are harnessing, what we have shown in the previous slide. So the potentiality in Gujarat, 84,000 megawatt. Lot of potential is there in Gujarat, right? And next, Andhra Pradesh also almost having 44,000. So potential is there for Andhra Pradesh also. After Karnataka, right? Almost Tamil Nadu and because both are coastal regions, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. See, both have almost equal potential to harness the wind power. It's another, see, like Goa and very small portion, so like unit territories and all, they're all small. Of course, West Bengal is very big, but the potential is least. This is what one should have, these demographic advantages. If you wanted to really establish something tomorrow, right? So these are all the advantages which you can identify, right? It is clean, right? Very uh, abundantly available. These are all the sources. Okay. Lot of wherever the land is available, you can just adapt that land towards the, especially I told you, in the region of Anantapur, right? Like that. You can. So these are some of the advantages and disadvantages, right? So this is always free, green, right? Uh, so lot more advantages for any, of course. These are other drawbacks which I already mentioned. See that the movement of human beings, animals, birds. This is what another thing we have to take care. Okay. And environmental impact, right? So wind energy CO2 emissions are quite small, right? That's why. Uh, if you compare to coal, it is just 1%. Right? Compared to natural gas, 2%. Okay. When you that means when you produce electricity, right? It is just 1% of 1 megawatt. Remaining 99% through coal. That is the other advantage. But that is how we can keep the environment so clean. Okay. So these are all the drivers for wind power, right? If you reduce the wind cost, right? The other, because compared to previous days, I told you already, the wind power prices declining. This is one driver. And fuel price also obviously volatile, uncertainty. Okay. And if you see the Western countries, their policies, of course, in our country, we have our own policies. Okay. Green power, and energy security, these are all common, globally common. Similarly, we have other source of energy like ocean, right? So this is harnessing the ocean energy. Of course, there are different technologies, right? Tidal energy, harnessing, and the surface energy, whatever it is. So this ocean energy is replenished by the sun and through tidal influence of the moons and sun's gravitational forces. So what are our tides being generated through which we can harness the energy through different mechanism? We have the tidal plants, right? So near surface winds, wind in this wave action and cause wind blown currents and about 3% of the wind speed. Tides cause strong current into out of coastal basins and rivers. Ocean surface heating by some 70% of the incoming sunlight adds to the surface of thermal energy. So the reason is always sun, which heats up the all earth surfaces, including water, seas, oceans, whatever it is. So where we harness that ocean energy in different forms, whatever part of surface being heated, that part is being harnessed in one technology. Whatever waves developed, the tides, we can harness through that. It is another kind. So and wind, whatever develops through that also we can harness. You see, source of ocean wave energy, right? Because of that, see how the wind, right, of surface of the ocean, how the wind generates surface, right, and propagates. That can be harnessed. We all know ocean is the three-fourth of the Earth's surface. Just only one-fourth is the Earth. Okay. So 0.1% ocean renewable energy is equivalent to 5 times of world demand. Okay. That means if we are able to harness 0.1%, see the significant impact across the globe, right? And 50% of the world's electricity consumption can be covered by just wave energy. So that means if you're able to harness the energy through waves, tidal energy, for example. So 50 can be, we can meet 50 demand, right? So these are all some of the setups where to harness the energy, okay? A rising tide, one side rise, one tide cycle, 12 hours, 25 minutes, we consider, okay? If it is C, okay. This is the rising tide, this is the falling tide. When the tide is rising, so here we install the turbines and all. Accordingly, it produces the energy. Similarly, when it is falling, so these are the setups. That setup is common, whether turbine always, whether it is windmill or hydraulic steam turbines, but suitable turbines we adapt and coupled to the generator. Thus, it produces the energy. See this example, this kind of technology, okay, where we kept typically a turbine. Whatever previous slides, you can see when the tide is rising, right? So it rotates. Also, when it's coming back, like especially in the time of um, Amavasya, right? Where a lot of tides will come. Okay, so like that, we have this wave energy fluctuations and peak periods, right? Full moon, dark moon. So these are some of the setups to that. Right. And another one is the OTEC, ocean thermal energy. So whatever thermal energy is available on the surface, this is how we can harness that energy, right? So this is earlier we told all solar energy being trapped by this ocean surface. So surface water get heated up, right? So that heat can be, right? That heat can be converted into ultimately to run the turbine, thus coupled to generator and produce the energy. So also, we can have.
Dear participants, do you have any doubts? So otherwise, sir will continue the next topic. If you have any doubts, just type in the chat box. Okay. Sir, you can continue.
Challenges, okay, local substation network protection. These are all some integrating challenges, okay, substation level, okay, and grid level. We have several utility side, and if you see some of the strategies for optimum renewable energy challenges. What are the strategies? Okay, so reconfigure the utility circuits and distribute PV over large area. Smooth out delivery. Means whatever you deliver should be very smooth accordingly. Also, you have to be in a position to forecast the energy output. These are all some of the strategies, right? Okay. So also, we will be in a position to control the instantaneous demand. Also, we have to be in a position to have energy storage capacities. Okay, and shall be in a position to have okay techniques, methods about the recovering technology. So, and these economics, right, if you see, to integrate renewable energy into an existing distribution system, the economics of such projects must be considered. Okay. Even right from the beginning, I have been telling the economics and its importance because integrate anything, if you integrate, ultimately, right, it should be in tune with the economics, right? We see the wind. They have taken this is the economy. Of course, it is the one where from the source of Canadian ministry, right? Where that is by a 15 to 20 years span. Okay, this is for biomass 30 years span. Then okay, it is for hydro for 30 plus years span expenses. Right. So geothermal 15 years span like that. So like that, you have to have integrate control methods, technologies, and awareness. With this, I can summarize what simply we could able to learn this basic introduction, the energy systems integration, so the impacts on the electrical distribution system, renewable energy distribution challenges, solutions, strategies to integrate renewable energy. So comparing this renewable energy technologies. So these are with this, I can thank once again all of you for your patient hearing, and I'm really honored by this management of Sri Datta group of institutions, principal, particularly the organizers who have taken a lot of effort, and must be thankful to the organizers, coordinator, and Dr. Pawansa, and co-coordinator Dr. Manojji, and all the supporting staff, colleagues. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. I must be thankful to my organizations and management, my department, all administrative people. I also equally thank from my organization. Thank you, Ananda. Thanks for giving this opportunity. Any queries? Please don't hesitate to reach me.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to introduce today's resource person, Vijay Vikrant Shitole. Vijay Vikrant Shitole is an accomplished data expert with over 16 years of experience guiding clients from initial data analysis to strategic decision making. His deep knowledge and practical approach have consistently helped organizations and transformed raw data into meaningful insights, enabling informed decisions and driving business success. Vikrant's expertise makes him a trusted advocate in the field of data-driven decision making. Completed BE in Production Engineering from Dwarkadas J. Sanghvi College of Engineering. Activities and Societies. Executive Placement Coordinator MMS Batch 2008 to 2010 from May 2009 to April 2010. Placement Committee Member Summer Placements MMS Batch from 2008 to 2010 from August 2008 to April 2009. Activities and Societies. Executive Placement Coordinator MMS Batch from May 2009 to April 2010. Placement Committee Member MMS Batch from August 2008 to April 2009. Best Student Award from 2009 to 2010. Now I'd like to hand over the session to the Vijay Vikrant sir, resource person. Please, sir.
Yeah. Hello, good afternoon. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Superb, superb, brilliant. So, firstly, whosoever can come on video, please do come on video. I am a person who thrives on energy, and I want definitely people to be on video live, right? Because most of our interaction happens human to human live. So request people to be on video and use the chat box very, very actively. So ask me as many questions as possible, and I'll be happy to respond immediately to those questions. So thank you for AICT Atal FDP program, and especially Sri Datta College of Engineering for giving us this opportunity. As they mentioned, as they introduced me, not many people know that I'm from a mechanical background. I did my BE in industrial production engineering way back in 2006, so quite old from that perspective. But yes, shifted to the world of data science and tech, but still remember my manufacturing roots. My first job was at Mahindra and Mahindra Automotive Division at Kandivli, Mumbai. So I still cherish and relish those days of manufacturing, and happy to share my insights, my experience over the last 17, 18 years with you guys. Just only one request, keep the chat box very, very active. I want it to be very interactive session, and let's make it a fun as much as possible. Done deal? Keep responding with thumbs ups and other things. So I thrive on energy, so I'll definitely look forward to your responses. Perfect, perfect. Thank you. Let's begin. I just request admin to give me the sharing of the screen rights.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, done. So yeah, let me know once you can see my screen.
It was loading. Yeah, we can see your
Yes, sir.
screen.
Visible, sir.
Perfect, done. So right, so today's topic, how can AI and data science actually contribute to sustainability in terms of optimizing the energy usage across industries, across planning of smart cities, basically understand basics of data science and how does it gets applied in a larger context of infrastructure as well as manufacturing. So I'll be taking two case studies today to help all of us understand what's happening real time in the industry and how AI is actually shaping up a lot of things in the industrial revolution. So feel free to ask me as many questions as possible. I'll also, apart from just covering the basics of data science and analytics, we will also talk about energy consumption in urban infrastructure, what role the AI plays, and what kind of impact it has. But lastly, and most importantly, this was shared to me by Dr. Pawan, that most of the people nowadays don't actually take mechanical engineering subject, right? They all want to go for BTech, CSC, CSC, AI/ML, CSC, data science. Nobody is actually taking up the mechanical engineering subject. And my last part of my segment, I will actually dwell upon how mechanical engineers can carve out a career in AI and data science, leveraging their background in manufacturing, leveraging their mechanical engineering knowledge as well. So it will be interesting session. I just want as many people to participate in the session. So the first question comes is, what is data analytics or analytics to be precise? Uh, you go on Google, you type what is analytics or business analytics, you'll get 4 5 line answer. For me, it's a very simple proposition. We convert raw data into meaningful insights and those meaningful insights into high quality decision, which should enable the stakeholder achieve a business outcome. Unless analytics actually help the stakeholder achieve a business outcome, for me, analytics has zero meaning, right? People pay you money for doing analytics only when they achieve business outcome. Like nobody's interested in doing high fun data modeling or a deep learning algorithms. They are all actually implementing it to achieve a business outcome. So the most important point I want all of you to take away is analytics is all about converting raw data small d into a big D, which is a high quality decision. But then that high quality decision should enable a business outcome at the end of the day for the stakeholder. And that is where analytics has a lot of meaning. Analytics has a lot of power. It can actually reduce a lot of cost structures. It can drive efficiencies. It can help you increase revenue. But you have to always start analyzing a problem from that perspective. End of the day, I want to achieve a business outcome. So data to decision and everything in between. Data small d to a capital D decision and everything in between is analytics. My simple definition. And actually, we as humans in our personal life, we do data to decision every single second, right? Our mind is processing some other the kind of data at this very moment, real time. You guys are probably processing what probably I'm gonna speak about. And I remember my old engineering days. We used to have OHP projectors many years back, and we used to all sit for a class for attendance. And then, depending on the slides, depending on the content and the diversity and the richness of content, we used to make a decision whether we will be just like this in the class or we will actually actively participate. So that is where data to decisions come into play, right? And there are so many examples. Every morning we get up, we see the weather app, and we probably decide कि आज work from home करना है कि we have to actually go to office. Another example I can give you is shadi.com, the best example in the personal life space, right? The entire family sits, they see the profile of a groom or a bride, and then they make a decision based on the educational background, family background, and things like that. So, data to decision is we do subconsciously every single second. And that is something I want you guys to take away from this program. Only when data to decision is done to achieve a final business outcome, that is when it has lot of meaning. And that is where the analytics actually turns out into a business proposition. Any questions so far? Very simple. Data to decision. That's what how we define analytics or data analytics to be precise. Any questions? Keep the chat box active. I'm actively pursuing the chat box. I want people to interact and ask me as many questions as possible. Should I go ahead? Perfect. Thank you. So let's have a fun start. Let's have a very simple and easy start to this course. Sai Krishna is asking what are the tools for analytics. I'll cover that as part of my session. So let's have a very fun and engaging start. You see a data on your screen. Can anyone tell me what is this data all about? You're seeing some data on your screen. One is the summary of a scorecard of a cricket match, and it is actually India versus South Africa T20 World Cup final 2024. India won that match, and very rarely India wins a World Cup. So whenever it wins, we should definitely acknowledge and remember this match. So this was the final of a T20 World Cup. June 29th was the date. India won by 7 runs. So if you see the data, there will be all over the news next day. This scorecard was played, and you can see Virat Kohli scoring a match-winning 76 runs. Keshav Maharaj took 2 wickets, 2 crucial wickets. Henrik Klassen for South Africa almost won it for them, right? I remember 15th over, he took Akshar Patel for 30 runs or something, and all of us thought the match was gone. And obviously, the last over by Hardik Pandya, which was very crucial in India winning the match. Now, my question to all of you is, there are 2 slides on the data. Can anyone tell me what this data is not telling? There are many things the data tells you. Can anyone tell me what the data is not telling? Put that in a chat box or just unmute yourself and share your insights. What are things that data is not telling? The 2 slides which I've just shown you. Just attempt. It's just a fun engagement that we are trying to do. What the data is not telling. There are many things data is telling. What is missing? I'm waiting for the answers. Anyone? So people who have seen this match might remember it was a final over. Uh, Hardik Pandya was the bowler and David Miller was the batsman. 19.1 overs, 6 balls to go, 16 runs to win, 5 wickets in hand, right? And first ball, Hardik Pandya balls, David Miller hits directly straight drive, straight six. It is supposed to go out of the park, and Surya Kumar Yadav takes a blinder. And that actually changes the entire complexion of the match. That catch by Surya Kumar Yadav was a match-winning, match-changing event, right? That is not being displayed by the data. Because if you see cricket, if you understand T20 cricket specifically, 16 runs and 6 balls is not a big thing. Especially if that was a six, then 5 balls, 10 runs to win. With 5 wickets in hand, every odd and every possibility that batting team would have won that match. So that's Surya Kumar Yadav's catch at the long on actually turned the entire match on its head. That is what I want you to take out from this. Data will tell you many things, but it will also hide many, many more things. And as an analyst, you should always dig much, much deeper. I give you a second example. This is a report card of a gentleman called Virat Kohli. So I was searching the report card on internet, and because of the strict privacy policies, nobody shares report card on the internet. Then I suddenly remembered Virat Kohli in October 2022 had shared his report card. So I got a screenshot of this. So if you see this report card, it tells you his performance across 5 subjects, his grades, his marks, which subject he has scored highest, which subject he has scored lowest. A lot of things are being told. Can anyone tell what is missing in the data? What is missing in this data? Can anyone attempt? Put that in the chat box. What's missing? Anyone? What's missing in the data? So how much marks for each subject that is given? So it's you can see that in English he has scored 83 marks. In Hindi he has scored 75. Grade also is given per subject. Overall grade is also given. So this is very, very important because everywhere we see data and we go into certain decisions, but we need to look at certain things which are hidden by the data. So of course, yes, Dr. Sai is saying that overall percentage, but overall percentage grades we can still calculate because we have the data points to calculate that. Thank you so much for responding and sharing your insights. It just gives me different energy. So what's missing is, let's take example of English. Now, if I just see this report card, I will assume that he scored very good in English because that is the highest marks he has got in any subject. But what if I told you in actually a prelim exam, which was just conducted 3 weeks before the main exam, he actually scored 92. Now, in that context of previous exam, the marks he got in English has a different meaning altogether. So, second example, he scored his least in mathematics. He just scored 51 runs. What if I told you in prelims, he actually scored only 36 marks in maths? So now 51 is actually 28% improvement over the prelim. So we always and always have to take any analysis with that context. There are some things data tells, there are some things data always hides. And as an analyst, our job is to dig much, much, much more deeper. So another example, a quick example, let's say we get a chit, we are in the classroom and someone leaves a chit for us. Meet me at cafe at 5 p.m. Right? Now here, the first question will be who has written it? And second question is why someone has written it? What's the purpose? And all of that, right? So raw data, it gives you information, but it never gives you the complete picture. And that's why most important thing I want you to take away is data is like suspense movie teaser or a suspense movie ka introduction trailer that you see on YouTube. It will hide much more than what it reveals. And so as an analyst, we need to dig much, much more deeper to find out the real insights. So far with me, very simple. Just wanted to start with a fun and engaging way so that just to get all of you energized and charged up. So far with me, guys, give a thumbs up. Any questions? Any comment? Anything? Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Perfect. Okay. So from an analytics perspective, or even from a data science perspective, if someone asks me what are the real skills required for building a career in analytics, I'll say analytics is actually a combination of three things. One is, how do you understand the business context, right? How well you understand the domain. Second is, what after understanding a business problem, how well you understand which mathematical model will actually solve this business problem. So when I say a business understanding means you need to understand a business problem from a 360-degree perspective. Let's take a business problem that we want to reduce our customer churn or customer attrition by, let's say, 15%, right? Many customers are leaving us, they are not getting retained, and we want to arrest that. Now we need to take this business problem and explode and look at it from a multiple different angles. It's like a light hitting a prism and it explodes into 7 different colors. We need to understand the why, what, and why of the problem. We need to understand the scenario, circumstances of why this kind of a problem existed in first place. And that is what I mean by understanding of a business context. Second most important thing is your fundamental foundational clarity of mathematics. And actually, the most difficult part in data science is understanding the mathematics and statistics. And I'll tell you the reason why it is difficult. It's not difficult by itself. It's just that in India, at I come from Maharashtra. I can definitely say how my schooling was done. In India, we are not taught the mathematics the way it should be, right? Our entire 10th standard mathematics was LHS equal to RHS, and somehow we used to come out with the answer. But mathematics ka real life implications, very, very few people ever taught us. And it took me many, many years after I passed out of from my MBA, I started my job as a business analyst. It took me many years to understand the power of mathematics, how wonderful the subject is. If you start understanding how our day to day personal life decisions also can be at much, much richer context if you start applying the principles of statistics and mathematics. So that is what it makes data science a very, very fascinating subject. And the third part of it is the tools and the technology. Now, tools can be Power BI, which is used for data analytics as well as data visualization. Tool can be Python. There are certain Python libraries like scikit-learn, Seaborn, Matplotlib, which actually help you go for a deep learning application of a deep machine learning algorithm. Tool can be SQL. SQL is a foundational language to communicate with data. So if anyone asks me if I even want to think to build my career anywhere near data, I say Excel and SQL is like a basic. It's like an English of understanding data. Excel and SQL. If you know these two, that's enough. You can always learn other things. Other things are like a building blocks. You can learn, but it's a very, very foundational language of learning data. Now, what has happened is because of advent of ChatGPT in December 2022, the tech quotient or the tech contribution, basically there is no more differentiation, because the ChatGPT or AI will write far superior and more efficient Python code or any tool for that matter. ChatGPT might operate any Excel formula far better than what we can do. So the differentiation nowadays in data science is not so much in the tech part of it, though you still need to learn the tools. Because if you don't know that tool, what you can extract from ChatGPT or other generative AI platforms is very different than what I can extract where I know the tool, right? That's why you still need to know the tool, but the real differentiation that you can create is not in the tech part. The real differentiation is how well you understand the business context and the business problem, and what mathematical models to which will solve the business problem is something that will make a difference. So far with me, guys? Give a thumbs up. So far with me? Any question, any comment, anything from your side? I can take a break. I can answer your questions. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. So let's now understand the power of mathematics. I talked about mathematics being the underlying principle. of data science. Let's first understand power of mathematics from a very different angle. And that's what I meant when I said ki in school, mathematics was never taught to us the way it has to be taught. So let's take an example. Let's say I'm walking on a beach. Time is 4 p.m. in northern hemisphere. India is in northern hemisphere. Let's assume I'm walking on a beach in Vizag, right? So there are few data points that we have. You know my height, you know my shadow's length, you can measure it. You know the time. Time is right now at 4 p.m., right? In a northern hemisphere. So sun will be at a certain direction. But that's why time is important. And you also know the latitude and longitude because I've given you the exact point where I'm standing. Let's say I'm standing at a particular latitude and longitude, walking in a Vizag beach. I want you to help me understand, and I'm going to ask you a few questions. This is the problem. Can anyone tell with the information which I just shared? You know my latitude, longitude, you know the time is 4 p.m. You know I'm walking on beach in Vizag. You know my height, you know my shadow. Can anyone with this predict the position of sun with respect to earth? Can we predict earth's rotation? And by mapping the position of sun and earth, can we predict other planetary positions? And by understanding other planetary positions, can we predict onset of high tides, low tides, onset of lunar eclipse, solar eclipse, and other weather conditions? So I want to understand, firstly, is this problem solvable with the kind of data we have? And then second question is obviously, how do we solve the problem? This is the real life example. We want to solve and find answers to the 4 questions which I've just listed on my slide. So I'll be waiting for you guys. I want you guys to participate. First question is it a solvable problem or not? Yes or no? Sai Krishna has said yes. Okay. I want Sen Gupta sir has also said yes. Superb. Who else? Who else thinks this problem is solvable with the limited data that we have? Anyone else? Okay, all of you are saying yes. You guys are very confident. So can anyone tell where should we start? How do we start? This problem is solvable with limited data. The right answer is yes. We can still solve this problem. Obviously, we need certain other data points as well. But where should be the starting point? Where is the starting point, guys? Where should we start? And how do we start? Okay, so Sai Krishna has written position of Earth. Okay, Sen Gupta has written solar irradiation. Very good, very good. At least there is an attempt and there is a sincere attempt. Thank you so much, sir, for attempting. So the starting point, we're not going to solve all the 4 questions, but at least we will understand the approach. Obviously, to solve this problem, it requires knowledge of multiple subjects. You need knowledge of celestial mechanics. You need knowledge of weather patterns. You need knowledge of logarithmic tables, mathematics, and so many other subjects. But at least let's attempt the starting point. How will you approach this kind of a problem? So first is we need to find the sun's elevation angle above the horizon. It's called sun's azimuth. And in mathematics, we learned in, I think, 11th standard, tan theta is equal to opposite divided by adjacent. So, uh, okay. Dr. Sen Gupta, madam. Yes, thank you, madam, for clarifying. So first thing is actually we need to determine the sun's azimuth, right? The angle of sun's rays hitting above the horizon. And how do you find that? Tan theta is equal to opposite divided by adjacent. So opposite here is my height, adjacent is my shadow's length. Theta, theta is equal to tan inverse of that will be at least a starting point, right? So you can now start understanding the concept of your position with respect to Earth and Sun's position with respect to Earth. At least itna solve ho jata hai. Then how do you attempt the Earth's rotation? Very simple. It's been 4 p.m. Earth rotates in 24 hours 360. So 4 divided by 24 into 360, we will get the exact rotation of Earth happening. At 4 p.m., noon sun is directly perpendicular to where you stand. So at 4 p.m., it's already setting on the western side, right? It's already setting itself on the western side. So at least 4 or 5 parameters now you exactly know. You know the Earth's rotation, you know your position, you know the sun's angle and the azimuth. And now you can use the newly found data to actually calculate the solar position. And there are solar position calculators using your geographic location, date, time, and using the knowledge of celestial mechanics, we can exactly position at this moment of time where is Earth in its revolution around the sun. Once you find, once you lock the position of these two planets and then the moon, you can actually identify using Kepler's laws of planetary motion where all other planets might be in their journey of revolution around the sun, right? You can approximate other exact planets in the solar system using this. Step 4 is to understand the tidal forces. Now, how do I understand tidal forces? Is tidal forces occur because of the gravity of two things on Earth's surface. It's actually moon's gravity on Earth's surface and pull of a sun, gravity of a sun on Earth's surface. The first thing to understand what will be the gravitational pull is to understand the relative distances between and the relative positions between the three this thing objects, Earth, Moon, and Sun. Once that is understood, you can start calculating the high tides, low tides, tidal forces, and things like that. This will help you to actually start predicting onset of lunar eclipse, onset of solar eclipse. Solar eclipse and lunar eclipse happen because the three objects which I mentioned, right? Moon, Earth, and Sun are in a straight line, and there will be a shadow of one object over the other. And this is a starting point. Whatever we have calculated till step number 5 is a starting point. Now I can actually understand how wind pattern works because high tides will influence ocean currents and wind patterns, right? Combination of all these data points and Earth's revolution around the sun and rotation at the same time, its position related to the sun, position related to the moon, will help me decode lot of weather patterns. And why weather patterns are important is weather is a starting point. Understanding weather patterns and ocean currents is a starting point to basically understand onset of monsoon. The reason why this is important and why I made you take you through this exercise is many years back, right? 500 years back, there was a gentleman called Galileo. And that time, most important income source was agriculture. 95% of the population used to depend on agriculture for livelihood. And in agriculture, understanding weather patterns, understanding onset is one of the most important thing. And people like Galileo, using simple data, which I just showed you in this image, that's all they had. They didn't had many things, right? And their observations and their own observations on the planetary movements, they didn't had even logarithmic tables. No calculator, no logarithmic tables, no computer, no processing power, no internet, no chat GPT. Nothing they had. And using simple pen and paper, using their astronomical observations, they, with certain percentage accuracy, like almost 90% accuracy, they were able to predict the weather patterns and onset of monsoons. And this is very, very important because nowadays it has become a kind of a buzzword, AIML, AIML. The science is not new. The science existed 40 years back. Science existed 500 years back. In fact, it existed thousands of years back. The science is same. Understanding raw data, converting into meaningful insights, and those meaningful insights at the end of the day should enable high quality decision. So data to decision is not a new subject. It existed many, many years back as well. And this is the foundation of a approach of a problem solving in data science. Any problem in data science, that's why I said you should understand the problem first, and then you should understand how using mathematics we can attempt solving the problem. Any questions so far? It was just to get you guys excited on this wonderful subject of mathematics, how it can really make a huge impact if you can understand the foundational underlying principles of mathematics. Any questions so far? All good? Give a thumbs up. Give a thumbs up emoji. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So the next question is, how do you think thousands of years back analytics was used or data-driven decisions were being applied? Can anyone tell? Can anyone share how thousands of years back the same science must have been happening? Share few examples from whatever you can think of. So many years back, every kingdom used to conduct census of their population. They used to understand how many villages in my kingdom. In every village, how many number of families stays, how many members within a family stay, what is their primary occupation, source of income, and all of that. The reason why every kingdom used to do it is every kingdom had limited resources. Some other resource was always limited. Some kingdoms had fertile land. Not every kingdom had fertile land or access to irrigation or water or other resources. And that is why, to ensure whatever resources we have is equally distributed and no one goes hungry, they used to do the population census. That is nothing but data driven decisions. So you understand the data and you make strategies as a king or as a patriarch of that kingdom. Second, we just found out astronomical observations, onset of lunar eclipse, onset of solar eclipse, weather patterns, everything was decoded. Your navigation was decoded many years back using data, certain data points, a position of Earth with respect to Sun, that will aid actually the navigation from one country to other. They used to travel by seas and they used to depend on astronomical observation. And the third is military intelligence. There are many examples, but one of the example is also military intelligence. What people used to do is they used to send certain uh, their own people from their own military to other kingdoms just to understand and gather data and gather intelligence. If the nearby kingdom isn't planning a war on us and things like that, wars used to happen only because of resources. every kingdom had some other resource limited, and that's why all these things used to happen. So they will gather the intelligence of enemy movement, troop strengths. They will understand the topography of the place, right? Which will be a hill which will help us in the act of a war. If someone attacks us, what will be our defense? Should be where should our people reside? All of that, generals is to make strategies based on the data given by their people, the feet on street, and that is also data to decision. So the reason I'm bringing all these examples is nowadays it has become a buzzword: data science, AI/ML, data-driven decisions. But the science is not new. It's just that it's called in a different language, and the tools that we use are different. But the science remain same. The most important point: if someone asks me why do we need analytics in first place, let me explain by two examples. One is example from a personal life, and I'll also explain example from a business context. I think anything that needs improvements needs measurement, and wherever measurement is required, you will require data. Vice versa is also true. Whenever you start measuring something, automatically you will be in a direction of improvement. And let me give a personal life example, and then I will give a business example as well. So, let's say I want to reduce my weight by 15 kgs in 3 weeks' time. So, to reduce my weight in next 3 weeks, I start gymming, jogging, swimming. I start doing exercises. I go daily to a gym and start controlling my calorie intake as well. Right? I go on a diet. I do all of this. Uh, do you think by doing all of this, automatically in 3 weeks' time, will I reduce 15 kgs? Will I directly reduce by doing all of these things 15 kgs? The answer to it is probably no, because I might reduce certain weight, but I'm not sure whether it will be 15 kgs exactly or not. And that's why every third day, I will need to measure my statistics, my weight, my body mass index, and the other vitals. Because if I don't measure them, I will never know whether I am in a right direction or not. Second question: which activity is actually helping me to reduce weight? For example, in 3 weeks' time, if I want to reduce 15 kgs, at least in next 4 5 days, I should reduce 2 3 kgs at least minimum. And how will I find out that whether I'm in the right direction or not if I don't measure myself? Secondly, I should know whether jogging is actually contributing, or swimming plus dieting is the major contributor, or is it something else? So that will only come to know by understanding when I actually start measuring myself. And that is why measurement is very, very important. Wherever measurement comes, data is always needed. And wherever data comes, the role as an analyst will be always and always there. Because now in personal life, improvement is a choice. Improvement is not a mandate. So personal life, may I make a choice that, okay, I don't want to reduce my weight for so and so reason, or I don't want to actually score very high marks. I don't want to struggle and score 8 point CGPA and 80 percentage marks. No, I'm happy with 60%, because I might want to enjoy my other things. I want to pursue other passions, other co-curricular, extracurricular activities, and that's a personal choice, right? Uh, in personal life, we always have a choice, but in the context of business, improvement is not a choice. Improvement, if it doesn't happen at right time, you will be given an unceremonious send off. Tata, goodbye, out of the market, vanished. Because in business life, it is a cutthroat competition. If we don't evolve, if we don't improve, then we will be out of the market very, very soon. And with the advent of AI, the acceleration, it has just got very, very accelerated. The improvement cycles today we need as a business has shortened. We need continuous improvement. Otherwise, we will be totally wiped out from this market. And I'll give a very simple example. So, 30 years back, if you all remember, some of you might be from that era, most of our purchases we used to do from a kirana store, local kirana store. Every gully, every nukkad, every road, every street used to have a kirana store nearby. Whether we have to buy our groceries, food, grains, other stuff, we used to go to a general store or a mom and pop kirana store and purchase it. In 2003, Aditya Birla Group launched more supermarket chain, and that was a start of supermarket chain in India. Then after that, DMart came. After that, Ratnadeeps of the world came in, and now it just became everywhere supermarket, supermarket, supermarket. 30 years back, Kirana stores used to control 95% of the market. As on today, in 2025, Kirana stores account for less than 3% of the overall market share of the business. They have been wiped out from the business. In next 3 to 5 years, they will be zero, gone, completely gone. And new age startups like Zepto, Blinkit, 10 minutes deliveries, all these fundas are coming. They will be even more wiped out from the market. It's a goodbye signal to all of them. The reason why is very simple. I go to a Kirana store. Let's say I want to buy a 10 rupees Cadbury chocolate. I go to a Kirana store. I ask for a Cadbury chocolate. I hand him 10 rupees note. The Kirana store owner doesn't know my name. He doesn't know my address, where I'm coming from. He doesn't know what timestamp I'm buying the product. He might be knowing, but he's not noting. Neither he is noting which product I'm buying, at what price point I'm buying. Is there any discount available for the product or not? He's not noting which how clothes I'm wearing, which vehicle I'm coming from. He's not noting anything of that sort. Ratnadeep is actually making a note of all the things which I just mentioned. They, with every order, right, all of these things are being made a note by people like Ratnadeep. And using that kind of a data, they run very, very intelligent systems to turn this data into high quality insights. It's a very sophisticated algorithm that runs. You will be zapped कि the algorithms and supermarket e-commerce has now advanced to very, very next level. They are planning everything to be done on a retina scan. You enter a supermarket, your retina will be scanned. The biometrics of retina will be linked to your Aadhaar linked bank account. You purchase your product, you exit out, automatically money gets debited from your bank account. So that is the level of AI that is being played out here. It is completely at next level. Now, Ratnadeep is keeping track of all of these things which I just mentioned. They know how many products you have bought, what price point, what timestamp you are buying, whether you paid by cash or by debit card or credit card. They know so many other things, right? Did you frequent on Tuesdays or Sundays? When was the last time you came? What was your last buying purchase history? Everything Ratnadeep is taking a note of it. They also, what if I told you, they also know your income bracket. Can anyone tell me how does Ratnadeep knows what income bracket do you fall into? How is it possible? You can put it on chat box. Can anyone tell me what might be a possible reason that people like Ratnadeep actually also start knowing our income bracket that we fall into? Anyone? Anyone, guys? So what happens is, yeah, Seen Gupta madam has said Aadhaar PAN link. So not necessarily through the Aadhaar PAN link, because they might not know neither your PAN, neither your Aadhaar, unless they implement something called as retina scan, which the government has to give a permission, where retina of every individual is used as a biometric link to the Aadhaar. Unless that is implemented, they may not come to know. So what happens is, when you go to a counter, first thing they ask you is your mobile number. Now in Ratnadeep's backend system, your 10-digit mobile number is the primary key of fetching all your records of your data. So in case, I'll give you a hack. Next time you go to Ratnadeep, say I don't want to share the mobile number, the entire backend logic of building a data system fails of Ratnadeep. They won't be able to keep tracking your data and monetize your data. So that is a hack. So what happens is, when you go to Ratnadeep and pay by a debit card, UPI, cash, they probably wouldn't come to know. But the moment you pay by credit card, they at least start getting your income bracket levels, because certain credit cards like HDFC Diners Black, Standard Chartered Titanium, and other credit cards, American Express, are only given after your qualification to a certain income bracket level. So credit card is one way they can approximately find out what can be your income bracket level. Now, someone might say that they can also see your purchase history and frequency of orders, or whether we are buying luxury products or not to a certain our income level. Yes, they analyze that data, but that is not very, very foolproof. For example, I might be from a very economically challenged background, from a very poor background, and my family size is 8 members, and I'm only buying all my stuff once in 2 months. So my quantity or the bill might look large, but that is not the reality. What they are also trying to do is, they are trying to have certain cameras placed. If you go to any Ratnadeep store, the design is very, very familiar. The way they have designed the parking slots before you enter, right? So if you see, next time you visit, you see the cameras put it at the exactly right angle. They want to map the retina that you are entering along with the vehicle you're coming as well. So they are trying to do that image recognition, image classification algorithms, which will be mapping that. So that is the level of intelligence and sophistication these people are putting their backend systems into play. And with this level of sophistications, do you think a local Kirana store, which not using any kind of data, will survive? Difficult, right? And that is why people like Ratnadeep, who are building their systems on data, they are every day they are learning. The machine learning learns every single transaction. Every second they are learning. They have been able to dominate the less intelligent systems like Kirana store. Because it's a simple theory that we learned in school, right? Charles Darwin theory, 7th standard to be precise. Intelligent species will always dominate less intelligent species. So same in business. Intelligent systems will always dominate less intelligent systems. And that is the fundamental reason in a business context, you have to improve every single second. Because if you don't build your own intelligent system, you will be vanished from the market, the way the rate of change that market is evolving into. And that is why this is important. Anything that needs improvement needs measurement. Anything that needs measurement will require data. And the other way of looking at it is, job roles for analyst or people who have data skills, who can analyze, will be always and always there, because every business, every industry on earth, startup, SME, big industry, everyone will require these skills. So far with me? so far with me? Any questions? Any questions from anyone? Anyone? Okay, perfect. Now, if I ask you, like, if I ask you, let's say I ask Debaparna madam itself that April April 2024, what was her travel expenses through public transport or a Uber or a Ola? Will she able to tell me April third week to be precisely? Is it possible? Is it possible to tell April 2024 third week? How much have you spent on travel or public transport? No, right? Because we are not tracking it. We don't track it. Nobody tracks it, not just madam, but actually nobody tracks it. The reason is if we start tracking it, like there are many expense management apps that you get free on the Google and App Store. If we start tracking it, like I said in the previous slide, anything that needs improvement needs measurement, and vice versa is also true. Anything you start measuring, automatically you will see improvement. So we can find out where exactly we are overspending. We can do planned versus actual consumption. We can forecast. Okay, if you want to buy an iPhone in 8 months' time, you can forecast all of these things, right? So in the personal life, how data analytics can help is just by tracking your top three spends, whether it's travel, food, hanging out, how much you are ordering for food delivery, you can actually understand basically where your money is being spent and where you can save. And I started actually tracking my Ola Uber expenses and Swiggy orders. And just by noting it down, automatically created an improvement in 3 months' time. I was able to save more than 1,000 rupees on petrol, right? Mostly has to use my own vehicle, but has to also try make note of how much I'm contributing on Uber and Ola as well, public transport as well. So this is a hack that I wanted to share. Always try and at least note it somewhere using a lot of expense management app that are there. It will give you at least a starting point to do your own analysis for your own personal benefit. Because month on month, income will remain same unless you have a promotion or unless you have a job change or a hike. But expense will not remain same. Every month, expense will be very, very different. So if you can have a small, simple decision board or a dashboard where you're spending, uh, it will give a immense decision making power and a value to you, like how much you're spending on, let's say, dining out, which is a discretionary expense, how much you're spending on rent, and you can then apportion it month on month. Where are your spends going? How much is absolutely necessary? How much is discretionary? How much is on basic needs? How much is on desires and wants? All of this automatically will help you do much more savings and do a proper budget management. So now, if you see all the logos on your screen, uh, I mentioned Ratnadeep, all the e-commerce companies that I have mentioned, Swiggy, PharmEasy, Amazon, Pacto, all of these companies that you see on the screen basically are the new age companies which are leveraging huge amount of data, and they are running very, very sophisticated, intelligent models to basically deliver that convenience to the end user. And we as a users are sharing our data with them. So every transaction they are capturing lot and lot more of data, And every purchase, every day, they are learning more. The algorithm learns more about us, our context, our circumstance of purchasing, our name, everything, right? It's tabulated. And that's why these companies are kind of a match winners, or these companies are top of their segment. They have kind of captured the market share in their respective markets. So how many of you have seen this concept of Google Trend? How many of you are aware of a concept called Google Trend? I definitely want you to check trends.google.com. Very, very interesting trends you can see. It's a first way of building the analytical skill set, right? Any keyword you can match and visualize the correlation between the two keywords and things like that. It's a fascinating tool. I definitely request all of you to use this tool, Google Trends, trends.google.com. You will get a lot of very good insights. Okay. Any questions till now before we move into the next part of our discussion? Any questions? Give a thumbs up. Waiting for your thumbs up before I proceed. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So now that we have understood why analytics is important, let's try and also understand uh, basically what are the different types of analytics. And I'll break it down in a very, very simple terms. Analytics runs through a DIPP journey, you call it. Descriptive analytics, inquisitive analytics. D stands for descriptive, I stands for inquisitive, P stands for predictive, and last P, DIPP, the last P stands for prescriptive analytics. Prescriptive is nothing but a recommendatory analytics, it's called. And what is the difference between these DIPP dimensions? Let me explain with a very simple example. Let's assume I'm traveling from Hyderabad to I'm traveling 700 kilometers from Hyderabad to Mumbai. So whatever I measure on my car's instrument cluster or a dashboard is all descriptive analytics. What speed I'm traveling, what are the revolutions, what is the mileage, fuel consumption, what where I have refueled, which petrol pump I have refueled, all of that, right? Distance to go is all descriptive analytics. And I take this route. First, I go from Hyderabad to Solapur, Solapur to Pune, Pune to Mumbai. All of this is descriptive analytics. Inquisitive analytics is where I start asking the question why. Like, why my speed was 90 kmph between Hyderabad to Solapur, but now speed has come down from 90 to 70 kmph from Solapur to Pune. Why my mileage was 17 kmpl, but now the mileage has reduced from 17 to 13, is all about inquisitive analytics. Descriptive is as is basis analyzing the data. Whatever the data is, as is basis you note it down. Inquisitive is you start asking the question, why? Predictive is, let's say you travel 500 kilometers journey between Hyderabad to Pune, and you only remain 200 kilometers journey between Pune to Bombay. Now, looking at your historical context of the 500 kilometer journey that you have traveled from Hyderabad to Pune, can you predict what will be your data points for Pune to Mumbai journey? For example, what will be your speed? What will be your mileage? How soon you will travel the next 200 kilometers? What time you will reach Mumbai? All of these are the prediction based on the past or a historical data. That is nothing but a predictive analytics. And the last part of it is something called as prescriptive analytics. Prescriptive analytics is nothing but a recommendatory analytics, which I just mentioned. It is, suppose, leveraging DIP. If now, tomorrow, my friend Charita is going to travel from Hyderabad to Mumbai, I will prescribe her certain things. I'll recommend her certain things. For example, start 6 a.m. in the morning to avoid traffic within the city so that you exit the Hyderabad city very, very fast. Don't stop at Solapur, stop at Indapur. Take so and so bypass. Refuel, if you want to refuel, do at only so and so petrol pump so that you avoid large queues and you can do it very, very quickly. All these are prescription, like doctor gives prescription. It's a recommendatory analytics. It's a recommendation. That is nothing but a prescriptive analytics. That's how we do it. Whenever we proceed with any analytics, we start with descriptive, then inquisitive, predictive, and last one is prescriptive. And let's take a business example as well, right? Let's take a company like ABB, which is a kind of a giant in so many facets. I definitely remember the electrical systems. They are actually number one in some components like switch gears and all of that. So ABB, if I want to analyze ABB as a company, then what will be a descriptive analytics for me as a company? Basically, I will try and understand real-time dashboards and historical data insights to monitor energy consumption patterns across facilities, across cities, across streets. I can just show energy consumption patterns, for example. Obviously, as a descriptive analytics, they do thousands of other things. I'm just taking one small example, right? How do they monitor energy consumption pattern? That will be a descriptive analytics. Inquisitive analytics is where they start finding the why reason. Why a particular fault in an electrical system might have had happened. Investigation root causes of equipment failures or outages, power outage ho gaya. So that investigative analytics is nothing but inquisitive analytics. Or identifying overheating in motors due to the voltage fluctuation. All of this is inquisitive analytics. What will be the predictive analytics in context of ABB? Predictive will be something like using the historical data. I can basically forecast or predict when so and so machine will require maintenance. It's called predictive analytical language. So using certain data points of vibration, temperature sensors and motors to predict next time when will be the bearing failure, for example, that will come under predictive analytics. So descriptive is as its basis understanding how my energy consumption patterns are there. Inquisitive analytics is more into understanding the root cause or why analysis. Predictive is where I predict certain things based on the historical this thing. And last part is prescriptive analytics. So prescriptive is, as I mentioned, is a recommendatory analytics. So example, for a facility, let's say we have a manufacturing facility and we want to prescribe using a lot of data that we have understood about the facility. We have done their descriptive analytics study. We have understood the inquisitive analytics. We have also done the predictive analytics. Now I want to automatically adjust HVAC systems based on real-time occupancy and weather conditions. And I will prescribe a whole document to that particular facility, how they can control the HVAC systems for that facility based on the real-time data points that facility generates. That will be something called as prescriptive analytics. Any questions so far? Because this is very, very important. So Dr. Munaf, I think if you can mute yourself, I just saw on the chat box. Okay. Any questions so far? I just explained in a business context their DIPP journey: descriptive, inquisitive, predictive, and prescriptive. Any questions? Any questions so far?
Hello, hi Munaf. Can you mute yourself? It was disturbing our session. Sir, Rajshekar sir, can you mute him? Because I don't have access to mute.
Yeah, I guess admins should be able to do that.
Yes, Grant.
Okay.
Because it was a very interesting topic like DABP journey. So I don't want to miss it actually. So that's why.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Thank you. Thank you. Any questions so far? Any questions? Or should I proceed? Any questions, guys? Give a thumbs up and I shall be able to proceed then. Give a thumbs up, guys. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay. Now, in our day-to-day lives, and specifically with the context of today's topic, wherein all analytics is being deployed in real time, and these things are already deployed across smart cities. Now, India has come out with a smart city mission. You, at least in these 5 6 facets, lot of analytics is being done already. So in energy and distribution, for example, renewable energy forecasting, the output prediction. Suppose so and so wind velocity is there, what can be the energy output? Those are things being predicted. There are already predictive maintenance done for power plants and grids. In building energy efficiency, basically they do real-time energy monitoring for smart buildings, HVAC system energy optimization, predictive analytics for equipment usage. In smart mobility, they are actually doing analysis on traffic flow optimization. What is the best route for the overall traffic? They do real-time route optimization. The traffic controllers changes the signals based on the quantum of traffic a particular road has. They also basically do charging station optimization, carbon footprint analysis for urban transportation systems. All of these things is being done currently across the smart city mission. So in terms of whether you see smart street light energy optimization, whether you want to see the AI based energy allocation for interconnected systems. For example, in GIFT city in Gujarat, everything is interconnected, the water, waste, and transport. And there are AIs being deployed across the entire GIFT city. I think it's a what 60 kilometers square kilometers city. So they have deployed IoT sensors for everything. I remember visiting a JSW plant who had deployed IoT system for street lighting. Only when the car actually goes on the road, the street lights will get activated. As soon as the car passes, the street light goes off. So they have proximity sensors and other things where they're managing and calculating all of these things. And the last point is obviously sustainability and policy planning. Basically, nowadays, most of the cities and most of the people, businesses are actually analyzing energy consumption trends for future infrastructure planning. So this has been happening across the board. Once you know the analytics and the journey and why data to decision is important, you can easily attribute how and why something is happening and in what level. So what I also want to do is, because we are also running out of time, I want to quickly show you one quick case study, right? I wanted to share two case studies, but I'll only share the second one for now to help you understand and decode the power of analytics. So I want you to focus on this problem statement. Many times what happens is electrical maintenance team face severe risk including arc flash incidents, electrocution, and system failures. The reason I'm taking this problem is, though it happens in the manufacturing facilities, the context of this, the sensors and the technology that is adopted for real-time fault prediction is being deployed across the energy consumptions, sustainability, smart city infrastructure. The technology is same. So why I'm chosen this problem is, in manufacturing, especially of the electrical systems, arc flashes alone account for several thousand injuries and fatalities annually worldwide, often due to inadequate monitoring and predictive capabilities. So the challenge was to build a proactive safety framework that ensures every worker safety is being ensured while optimizing maintenance process. And just let's see and just play the video, and you will see what do you mean by arc flash. So what happens in arc flash? There is a maintenance engineer. So you guys have seen what happens in the arc flash. A maintenance engineer was just checking one of the panel, and this is what happens, almost a electrocution. Luckily, this guy was saved, but not everyone will be as lucky. So that's why this is very, very important problem that people face in manufacturing and facilities. And how are people solving it? How do you solve this kind of a problem? So we're gonna do basically, we have understood the problem, why, what are the root causes of the problem, what actually triggers these kind of arc flashes, and then we will attempt the solutioning. First thing first, we will need IoT enabled sensors to be deployed across the electrical systems to monitor certain parameters like voltage, current, temperature, humidity, which are the arc flash risk zones. Means almost certain components might have high voltage, high temperature, high humidity. So there will be always under risk zone. And this data is transmitted real time through the IoT sensors to our cloud platform for real time monitoring and analytics. Second level, we deploy advanced analytics. These are cloud based analytics. As soon as the data comes to us at the cloud level, we basically identify patterns associated with arc flashes, equipment degradation, and electrical faults. So, yeah, Charita was saying negligence of employees. So we need to track every second by using technology. Yes, absolutely. So these kind of things happen in the real life scenarios. And we need to deploy very, very advanced models which will do real-time fault prediction or real-time monitoring and analysis. They will identify which equipment is about to degrade, which panel system has an electrical fault, and they will then the algorithms will be built and trained to detect irregular spikes in current or a voltage or a temperature. It will predict potential high risk event. It will also trigger alerts for maintenance team even before incidents will occur, because let's say we give wrist armbands to a maintenance team, which is enabled by the smart tech, and then we will be able to at least alert the maintenance engineer that something is happening. This concept is called anomaly detection in a machine learning language. What it does is, first the machine will understand what is the standard operating procedure of a particular process or a machine, and then using sophisticated deep learning algorithms, whether it's Google's TensorFlow or whether it's LSTM, which is long short term memory. It's a name of an algorithm. It will try and assess what is the normal operating procedure, and then when the data goes way beyond the normal, there is a deviation from the normal, there are spikes. That's when it tries to detect the irregular spikes in voltage, current, and temperature. And it will definitely do a real time triggering of alerts for maintenance team before the incidents could occur. So obviously, this solution was built with scalability in mind. That's why they deployed at a large scale industrial operations. And it is also can be contextualized for different types of facilities. It can be a power plant, it can be a manufacturing plant. So it can be contextualized for the infrastructure that you have at the facility. And wearable IoT devices were also introduced to the maintenance worker to track proximity to high risk areas. So it has a GPS enabled tracker and it triggers if workers have entered dangerous zones or hazardous conditions. So this is how we are solving, analytics is solving real life problems, right? And saving lives. And this is a live example. Most of you are from mechanical manufacturing background. You can relate to this sort of example. The technology stack that has been used is one is IoT sensors, cloud infrastructure, basically AWS, Amazon services, Amazon Cloud has a module for IoT core for data management and scalability. So they use AWS IoT core, machine learning, as I said, TensorFlow. It's a Google framework for applying machine learning models for anomaly detection. In technical terms, this is called anomaly detection and real-time fault monitoring. So the solution was rolled out across 50 maintenance sites over next 6 months. And this actually helped 30% reduction in life-threatening incidents because of the real-time predictive alerts and real-time monitoring drastically reduce the or minimize the arc flash and other electrical hazards. It obviously also improved compliance and most importantly, it help maintenance reduce 25% reduction in unplanned downtime and automatically maintenance cost were reduced because of the implementation. So this was a real time example I took from ABB. ABB's IoT enabled system actually does that. It monitors real time and it predicts faults also real time. And the actionable insights that you derive from the data will help you reduce the safety incidents and improve the maintenance workflows across the industry. So it's called ABB EDCS, Electrical Distribution Control System. It's an innovative cloud-based platform that they have deployed across their facilities, across their client premises. And it not only enhances energy efficiency, it improves maintenance workflows, particularly unplanned downtime. It reduces safety incidents and reduces the cost overall. It saves life. Most importantly, it saves lives. So key features were real-time monitoring, predictive maintenance, energy optimization, and remote accessibility. Remote accessibility means you can access this kind of a tool through your smartphone, tablet, or computers. So someone sitting in, let's say, Hyderabad can monitor a plant which is based in Chennai or Bangalore. So that is the power of cloud-based analytics. So I'm going to play this video to understand how the solution was deployed in a real-time basis, how very, very sophisticated AI and analytics gets deployed as far as smart engineering facilities are concerned. So also let me know whether you're able to hear the sound. I'm just playing a video. Are you able to hear the sound? Just give me a thumbs up.
No, we can't hear the sound.
Acha, let me share once again along with the sound. 1 second. So let me play once again. Now you let me know whether you're able to hear the sound.
Now we can hear.
Same, right? Yes.
Yes.
The ABB Ability Electrical Distribution Control System is the innovative cloud-based solution that enables you to manage your facility's electrical distribution in real time via smartphone, tablet, or computer from anywhere, anytime. It gives you the power to monitor, optimize, control, and predict to dramatically reduce energy use and operating costs. Let's take a closer look. With ABB Ability EDCS, you can conveniently monitor everything from the online widget-driven dashboard. Quickly and easily customize the dashboard to suit your needs. Use the drop-down menu to add or remove widgets as needed. Then simply drag them into place to optimize their order based on your application. Power Demand allows you to see your power consumption as a percentage of your utility contract, helping you determine which loads may need to be offset to avoid costly power overcharges. Power Quality lets you monitor power sags and peaks to help you achieve a smooth operation, as well as better equipment efficiency and longevity. Power Factor gives you a number tied to power quality and performance. The lower the number, the higher the cost. You want it as close to 1 as possible. Real-time current lets you look at each phase so you can identify a phase imbalance or potential downstream issues like bad lugs, a bad connection or oxidation. High current
Are you guys able to hear me now?
Now we can hear.
Okay. Apologies for that. Actually, that was my last part of my session. Any which ways, what I'll do is Dr. Munaf also reached out that next resource person has also arrived, and I'm ending my time. So that was the last part of my session. Actually, I wanted to share the ABB video. What I'll do is I'll share the ABB video link to the organizers team, and they will be sharing with the you guys in the chat box. So once the next resource person starts, I'll myself also share in the chat box the same ABB video link, and hopefully you enjoyed the session. It was very different from a typical manufacturing mechanical point of view, but hopefully it was interesting, and you got to learn something new. So that's it from my side. Any question? I'll be happy to take 1 or 2 questions if the time permits, but that's it from my side. I'll be around. If you have any questions, I can answer on the chat box, and we can hand it over to Dr. Munaf for taking the next speaker and next session. That's it from my side. Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
sir.
guys. Thank you.
So thank you so much, sir, for your valuable session. So we are very much delighted of your nice presentation. So which is attached with the data science and everything. So this is very informative, sir. So any participant, do you have any questions? So otherwise we can go with the next session. The resource person is also waiting in.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Dr. Munaf, and thank you, Sridatta Engineering College, for inviting me. Pleasure meeting all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Now I would like to introduce today's resource person, Mr. Rakesh K. He completed his PE in Mechanical Engineering from Visvesvaraya Technological University, MTech from JNTU Anantapur. 13 plus years of experience in trainings, sales management, sales operations and post-sale management. Gold medalist in Masters of Technology, Advanced Manufacturing Systems. He conducted 100 plus seminars across different verticals like education, automobile, medical and manufacturing for developing awareness in 3D printing and 3D scanning technologies. He is Technical cum Industry Officer, National Center for Additive Manufacturing. He served as Senior Faculty and Head INC Senior Faculty and Head INC Engineering Staff College of India. Now I would like to hand over the session to the Mr. Rakesh K. Thank you, sir. Please, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
I'm sharing my PPT. Is my PPT visible?
So presentation not visible, sir. Yeah, now it's
Visible now?
yes, sir.
Yeah, good evening all. I guess thanks for Sridatta Engineering College for giving me a session, and also thanks for the introduction which is given. So I guess so many speakers have talked about the sustainability in 3D printing itself.
Sir, it is visible, but the presentation has not yet opened, sir.
Not at open.
Yeah. The final Sridatta sustainability, it is showing like that.
Now,
Yes, sir. Now it is visible.
slides are moving.
Yes, sir.
So good evening, all whoever have registered for this FDP on sustainability. So I'll be taking you through about NCAM, which is the National Center for Additive Manufacturing, which is a Government of India body, which is located in Osmania University, and we are the pioneers and we are the major additive manufacturing government entity which is taking care of development of additive in India. So I'll be taking you through the complete sustainability in 3D printing. I guess in this program itself, I have seen Ravi Kumar sir, Dr. Professor Ravi Kumar sir, and also Dr. Anil sir with their presentation in sustainability. Maybe repeated slides may be there, because end of the day, sustainability in 3D printing will be a common topic for everybody. Still, I'd like to give maximum experience of whatever I have in this 3D printing. I'm working for this 3D printing industry from last 15 years. So I'll be taking you through the complete session for another 1.5 hours. So any questions you can type in the chat box, or else you can interrupt me. I don't have any one-way conversation also. So I'll just move on. So National Center for Additive Manufacturing. This is one of the center which is established for development of additive manufacturing in India. This is a central government center under the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, under the collaboration with Government of Telangana. And it's a partnership firm under the Section 8 company which is established. This main comprehensive main NCAM goal is to develop the ecosystem in India and also make India as the #1 position in additive manufacturing. So if you see in the global additive manufacturing landscape, to the right side of the screen, you see India is almost, 3% of additive manufacturing, which is, very, very less when you see adoption of additive manufacturing technology. Majorly in India, we have certain issues like we don't have the machines which we are right now manufacturing. The cost of the machine is high and softwares are not there in India. That's why there is Indian presence, and in the AM market, India is just 3 to 5%, which is very, very minimum. So Government of India has taken the initiative to grow the additive manufacturing technology. So in this perspective, NCAM, National Center for Additive Manufacturing, is formed, and this is the epicenter for additive manufacturing in India. This center is majorly working for development of additive in India. And if you see the complete landscape, which you see in the left side, additive manufacturing landscape, we have 3D printing manufacturers, we have software vendors, we have material processing and material suppliers, and we do have post-processing companies which are there. These companies, if you see this landscape, you see all companies majorly coming from Europe, USA, Japan, other countries, Southeast. So majorly what exactly is happening is they are developing the machines and we are just using the machines. So the main motto of Government of India is to take this advanced technology to India and develop the machines and complete technology to be developed in India under the Make in India campaign and Atmanirbhar Bharat program. So in this initiative, they have given us the most target for these particular development of additive manufacturing in India. So from 18 billion to 2026 it will be 35 billion globally, not in Indian perspective. So in this perspective, now Government of India has planned for and given targets to National Center for Additive Manufacturing for development of additive in India. So if you see the complete strategic goals Government of India has taken, so they have kept certain goals to develop additive in India, additive manufacturing in India. If you see Indian specific 500 products to be adopted for additive manufacturing, because additive manufacturing is very, very keen technology which has to be adopted at the MSME levels, where this leads to the growth of organization in coming days. And 100 new startups, especially in additive manufacturing. So National Center for Additive Manufacturing funds the startups, and we are in Usman University, we are funding the startups. Right now, we have 14 startups which are working purely in additive, which we are funding for additive manufacturing technologies, startups only. And 50 Indian specific technology is one more in specific development, where we are working out for development of technology in India, where we want to develop the Indian technology and make Indian technology grow, and that Indian technology only should be exported to the other countries. So that is a target which we have kept, and some technologies have already started growing, and under the startup scheme also we are funding the people, and technologies also we are doing certain funding for R&D. Next is 1 lakh skilled manpower. This is one of the major perspective in the engineering college, because it's engineering college students, people who work for the skilled manpower, especially for ITIs, diplomas, and engineering college students, R&D students. They need to know and they need to have the awareness about additive manufacturing technology. At a ground level, if you see colleges right now, they have a small FDM based printer, but closing at FDM based printer is nothing to do, because there are large other technologies like SLA, SLS, and SLM technologies, which are right now into the batch production stage. So we want to develop the manpower and new skilled manpower, 1 lakh skilled manpower, which we have targeted, and it's already reaching 25,000 this year. For this, we have certain programs which are conducted last year. The program called as ATEP, where we have funded the colleges across India for 2.5 lakhs for this FDP programs, and we are started skilling it slowly, and now we are moving ahead. And next is 10 existing and new manufacturing sectors. We have identified certain sectors. If you see engineering sector, we have medical sector, dental sector, jewelry sector, engineering, defense sector, aerospace sector, like that. So now 10 existing and new manufacturing sectors we have identified. If you see in 3D printing, we have orthotics and prosthetics also, which is one of the technology adoption, which is the area industry which should be sector which should be adopting the additive manufacturing. So we have identified it, and we are now producing the prosthetic legs for army and defense organizations wherever they need the initial stake. Like we have the AIM infrastructure available in NCAM. We have almost worth 20 crores worth equipments available with advanced metal machines, advanced 3D printing machines. And we have various equipment available in Usmania University where we are right now making the people to work on it, and we are moving ahead on this adoption of the sectors and all. And then awareness of the adoption of AM products. This is one of the major thing. Even though you produce the products, that should be, we need to create the awareness, and then adoption also should be there. So this is the strategic goals which Indian government has given us, and then we are right now marching towards 2026 for achieving all the goals, whatever is listed. Almost all we are trying to achieve, maximum up to 70%, whatever are given in this slide. So for development of complete systems in additive, NCAM is now working for set up certain objectives under the 5 pillars which they have clarified: majorly skill development, new product development, indigenization, and enabling adoption and industry readiness, access to the AM infrastructure, and R&D innovations. In these 5 pillars, if you see, skill development is one major initiative under which right now I am giving the sessions for various colleges, various industries for adoption and increasing the awareness about additive manufacturing technology. Apart from, we have the equipment, as I informed about new product development, we have the machines here, open access machines, where we can get the powders in open powders, and we can change the parameters, machines which we have in the metal machine area and also polymer area. So this is one of the open system which is available in NCAM, where you will not get anywhere in across India where we can't change the parameters of the powder and all. So enabling adoption and industry readiness, we are right now printing the parts for various industries identified like EV and all, and then they are adopting it, and industry readiness, and then go for the mass production, and then access to AM infrastructure. As I explained, this infrastructure is available in Usmania University for various people who ever want to do R&D and go ahead into the next level of it. And last is R&D and innovation, where we are working for the development of innovation and then R&D through startups and various schemes which we are working at. This facility is inaugurated on 8th June last 2 years back, 8th June 2023. And right now, after started working with the Indian entities, now if you see the domestic brands in the right side, 3D printing companies have grown significantly, and there is a vacuum gap in the softwares area. Right now, we are working with these few companies in India where we are funding them to develop a softwares which are very, very costly. If you see the left side of it, international brands cost you around 60 lakhs, 70 lakhs softwares. So government has taken initiative to go ahead into the next level of development of it. And various service bureaus are already existing for catering you for 3D printing in plastics and metals. Apart from this, if you see, there are almost 128 startups are registered in DPIIT, and also 50 plus hardware companies and 40 plus offering manufacturing services and 20 plus offering materials, and nearly 10 companies in software space. Overall, 200 plus active organizations in the country, they are taking care, and then they are moving ahead. So apart from this, we have initiative to get the investment to India and also get companies from other countries to India. We have conducted various workshops. We have conducted grand challenges across India, and these are the major and 4 companies from other countries to India for investing in India. Apart from this, we do have taking off next level of and Indian AM landscape report. This is the way through, and this is the report which is required for the next way through for the additive manufacturing India. So this is the Government of India initiative to take into the next level. And also NCAM is developing a platform for students and who are AM working challenges, people who to create complete portal for various needs like AM jobs required, job portals for various students to work with, and government AM infrastructure available for end users, and also AM challenges in India, open discussion, and then we are getting these solutions for additive manufacturing in India to create a good knowledge base. This is our NCAM's main initiative to take care. So if you see our equipments in Hyderabad, this is a government related equipment. I am repeating again and again. So this is EVOS. This is powder based machine, which we have a biggest build volume. Even complete leg can be printed. That is 300 by 300 by 600 build dimensions, which we have at our facility. And this is MLab machine, which is having right now 100 by 100 by 100 small machine. And other right hand is not of NCAM, but it is a powder development. If you are getting a combination of powders, you want to invent a new alloy and mix an alloy and get the powders mixed. that particular powders can be mixed, and then you can get that powders done in this particular right side. We call it as plasma spreadizer, which produces the powders, which is not ours. It's one of the startups called Matrix Nano, which is producing the powders, and then these powders will be fed into the second machine, that is metal machine. Apart from that, we are getting one more biggest metal machine, that is 450 by 450 by 450 build volume dimension, which is being installed in another 1 month place, which is going to be printing various needs of various aerospace and defense parts, which is coming up in our facility in another 1.5 month time. So we conduct various workshops across India, and we have various people who we have roundtable conferences. We do various workshops in medical related professionals, and also we do workshops in various AM colleges. We do have certain companies which we are working at for the development of AM. And these are the national conferences which we conduct. And this is the conference conducted in NIT Warangal. So to move ahead in this, moving ahead in our topic today, so my introduction is done, so I'll just move ahead. Maybe people might have shown, but these are the techniques which we are presently working in 3D printing, like FDM, SLA, SLS, SLM, PJP, binder jetting, LVM, and clip technologies, which are clip is very advanced right now, patented. We are not working on it, which is not affordable right now. If you see the FDM, the topic of sustainability exists, and if you go to SLA, very rarely we have the topic of sustainability. Coming to SLS, we still have the sustainability, and then circular production we can do, and SLM we do have the process. And coming to PJP, no, we don't have sustainability. Binder jetting, we don't have, no. And LOM we do have, but still not up to the mark. And clip is right now not available for us for the next position. So coming to the sustainability of 3D printing, basically, if you see majorly the plastics which needs to be recycled or which needs to be there, and then metal powders which are being used, and what is the present position when compared to the 3D printing versus the traditional techniques. So I'll be taking you through to some of the factors which the sustainability is working, and sustainability in 3D printing is there. So apart from technologies, whatever we are printing, if you see the plastics, as I told you, we can recycle metal powders because we can recycle compound materials. We can't ceramic, we can't resins, we can't. And those have to be, again, chocolate is a food printer which cannot be recycled again. And then paper is recycled, and sandstone cannot be recycled. So these are the sustainability materials. And apart from this, if you see in the perspective of the medical, we have certain standards where we can't use certain powders, and we need to have only titanium powder. So these at glance just giving you information about the applications of 3D printing. These areas where we can do the sustainability, and the powder produced or the parts produced where we can have certain sustainability. So in my today's session, whatever is allotted to me, in complete area of sustainability in manufacturing, why the complete sustainability matters. If you see the complete global emissions, almost 24%, 21% of manufacturing contributes to the manufacturing contributes for the global carbon emissions, which is very, very dangerous, and which is right now government of India has given us a clear instructions for all the additive manufacturing companies to make sure the sustainability is also a part of their machine production or their part production or their production of the end use parts. So if you go to the resources whichever are available, and which are consumed in plastics, metals, and energy, are over consumed and wasted in traditional methods. I'll be going in the next slides where I'll be showing you where the traditional methods, how much wastage is going on, how much 3D printing helps in this sustainability angle, and if you manufacture a part with 3D printing, what is the difference that you will get with the 3D printing versus sustainability. And coming to the present demand, where customer is also looking at for the eco-friendly product. So in the industries are also pushing for the adoption of the sustainability initiatives, and this is the major importance which 3 points relate to our sustainability in 3D printing: major manufacturing, and then resources of plastics, metals, and energy, and also customer demand for the eco-friendly products. So coming to 3D printing, where exactly this additive manufacturing fits and sustainability in additive manufacturing fits. If you see the diagram, the environmental, social, and economic, these three pillars of sustainability, you see sustainable being common for environmental, social, and also economical. These three factors are getting affected. So majorly in this diagram, the meaning exists is this sustainability can have the impact even environmentally, socially, and also economically. And if you see additive, the complete production additive manufacturing, if you see the production landscape which we use in CNC machining, all CNC machining, if you see, material is reduced and material is wasted. In additive, we put the layer upon layer to form the object. So this layer upon layer, a production of the object will have more saving of the material, and even parallelly, if you save the material and also the energy consumption also decreases. This makes the in future, in especially in the manufacturing sector, to make adopt to the additive manufacturing and make this grow slowly, because this reduces so much of impact, because so much of pollution or emission and everything, and wastage is always more when compared to the other traditional methods. So what is the role? What 3D printing is majorly role for the sustainability, if you see? First and foremost is material efficiency. Reduces material wastage by almost 90% when compared to traditional manufacturing. This is a major impact which we have in regular, if you compare with the regular traditional manufacturing. 90% is huge number when compared to the actual, because the wastage itself reduces by 90% means it's a huge number when compared to other thing. Next is energy savings, required up to 50% less energy in certain applications. There are still certain, I agree, I'm going to give you the limitations also for the sustainability in 3D printing. But still, if you see in a positive direction, we have the energy saving also being done, and requires almost a 50% less energy in certain applications, where that itself can save a lot of energy which is being wasted, or which is being can be utilized for some other resources. Coming to localized production, if you see, there is a reduction of transportation emissions by enabling on-demand local manufacturing. Especially if you see, the localized production reduces the transportation emission by enabling on-demand local manufacturing. On-demand local manufacturing, if you need certain things, you can definitely go, and then you directly if you can directly go and ask for the part, and then they directly on demand you can print the parts, rather than keeping a lot of inventory, maintaining the lot of inventory. In digital form, if you keep the file and keep it ready, then that localized production makes a lot of impact. Means there is no need of producing the parts, and those parts are getting corroded, and then those parts getting affected, and that inventory maintenance and everything. So localized production not only reduces the transportation and also transportation emission, but also it has a lot of impact on the economical area also, where you may need or may not be need. This, if you go to the army bases or these bases, they have huge inventories being placed. That huge inventories being placed has a lot of impact even in the environmental maintenance of it, transportation of it, and those points. So the localized production is one of the major role which is 3D printing helps to make it through in this role of 3D printing in sustainability. Next one is end of life solutions. See, end of life, I guess everybody know about the end of life, recycling of materials and closed loop systems for production of life cycle management. The complete end of life solutions means the complete materials which are being used can be reused again and again. And the powder, even after the production also, we can use that particular thing. So this is a major advantage which we have, where we have the life cycle, product life cycle can be, end of life cycle can be, we can take the measures for making the powder reused again and again for production of the parts. And we have a latest of data. If you see, the 50% of manufacturers are integrating sustainable practices using additive manufacturing, which is one of the major initiative for sustainability in manufacturing, where it is Wohlers is one of the famous report which is produced for 3D printing, which is 50% of the manufacturers. There are so many manufacturers in plastics. There are so many manufacturers in metals. There are so many manufacturers in certain SLA related companies and DEDs. There they are integrating the complete sustainable practices for additive manufacturing to adopt the sustainability factor, which is majorly needed for complete carbon footprint, which is moving ahead. So just to compare the sustainability in 3D printing, just I am comparing the environmental impacts versus the traditional versus 3D printing. This, if you see the material usage, traditionally, you see large amounts of raw material wasted in subtractive, example, milling and cutting. As I told you in CNC machining, you take a lump of block and then you cut the materials, and the material which is being coming out is almost all wasted. Certain part of it is being reused, but still there is a wastage. Next one is 3D printing. If you go to the material usage, there is a precise material deposition, minimizes the waste which is being, wasted. So exactly, there is certain wastage like support materials which we get in 3D printing. That is also the wastage which we consider. There is minute when compared to the traditional. If you see, a lot of lump of material is being removed. Here, no. Almost whatever is needed, and the part for development of the part, we have the support. So that is the minimal wastage which we consider. And next is energy consumption. In traditional, if you see high energy usage due to complex supply chain and waste management. If you go to the complete product manufacturing in traditional manufacturing, minimum it takes 10 to 15 processes to complete a part, which is, transportation is extra, and energy consumed is extra, material wastage is extra, and the manpower wastage is extra, electrical wastage is extra. So the complete complex supply chains which are involving, there is a lot of energy consumption in traditional manufacturing. If you go to the 3D printing, there is a streamlined process with low energy demand in localized manufacturing, where if you have a simple setup, you can release your part from that particular 3D printing area. I am not telling only 3D printer can produce the parts, but after 3D printing producing the parts, there are certain post-processing techniques also consume certain energy, but not as of traditional manufacturing, which is very, very challenging, which is very much wastage if you compared with 3D printing processes, which we have. After 3D printing parts goes for the heat treatment, where the residual stresses are being removed, and then we go for the polishing, grinding processes to get the part out, and then it will be now polished and then buffed, and then part is released. But if you go to the traditional manufacturing, if you have a complex structures inside, there is a how much complexity is there? There is a that much complex supply chains are also existing, where you have hours together of production, hours together of processing takes place with a lot of energies being involved and a lot of oils and a lot of wastages being considered. So energy consumption factor is one of the major environmental impact factor when you see the 3D printing versus traditional manufacturing. Next is emissions and pollutions. The major thing which is ruining our complete global warming or whatever impact right now is coming for the climate change. This is traditional one, which is a heavy reliance on fossil fuels leads to high CO2 emissions. It has a very high CO2 emissions. And if you observe the 3D printing potential for low emissions with optimized supply chains, and the consumption of CO2 emissions from the machines which are being used for the traditional manufacturing is huge, and 3D printing has a very low emission. Like there is completely a big variation between the emissions and pollutions which are being happening in this 3D printing in traditional manufacturing compared to 3D printing, which is having very very less emissions. Next is waste generation. If you see traditional scrap being produced and toxic byproducts, and then again the scrap is being recycled with certain toxic products, and then landfilling contributions. So the wastage, whatever the scrap, there also the land will be occupied. There again we have to recycle it with certain the other processes, and then we have to make that scrap is becoming more and more and more and more. So the waste generation is more when traditional manufacturing when compared to 3D printing, where we have recycled filaments, biodegradable materials, and also reduce the landfilling impact. Where if you see recycled filament means in FDM, we have a 3D printing outcome which has come. that can be again crushed into the parts which are used in 3D printing. Once if it is dimensionally failed, we can't throw the part away. We can collect that particular scrap. Those scrap which is being collected can be crushed using a crushers and then make it into a fine granules, and those can be recycled again. And we can take it as a filament again, and those filaments can be reused for 3D printing again in FDM process. Coming to SLS process, we have a 70-30 ratio of mixing the fresh powder with the used powder, which is a mixing of the already used powder. When the part is produced, certain powder is being exposed to the laser environment, but those used powder, you can take that powder and we can recycle it again for producing the parts by mixing the fresh powder of 20% and 70%. And if for visibility purpose, we can directly take 100% recycled powder, can be directly taken and printed again. So there is no wastage which we consider. There is a wastage, but finally after 50 cycles of powder, there will be certain proportionate material is being wasted when compared to the scrap which is being produced or waste being produced in the traditional manufacturing, and which is a completely vague environmental impact in sustainability when you compare with the traditional and 3D printing. And if you see recent studies in 2024, Airbus reduced component waste by 40% by switching to additive manufacturing for certain aircraft parts. Because if they have identified that the production of certain parts and they have started implementing in their production angles where they have started, and there is a switch over from the regular traditional to the additive manufacturing, considering the sustainable angle also, where there is a waste, the reduced component waste or the material waste, or because if you see the materials which are being used in aerospace have certain cost impact also, economic analysis or the inventory or whatever you see in these things. The recent studies have clearly shown that Airbus is now slowly moving towards the 45%, reduced component waste by 40%, which is a very huge step forward in coming days. And Ford and HP collaborated to reuse 3D printed waste for automotive parts, reducing the landfill contribution. This is one recent study where the Ford and the HP, if you see the bonnets or these things, they use that reused 3D printing waste, means the parts, powders which are being, or the parts which are being, those are crushed and they are producing this particular, complete automotive parts, and they are fitting to the systems, and there you can reusability can be there. So that is the impact which we have. So as I explained between the traditional versus additive manufacturing, this I can underline, this is the major benefits of 3D printing for sustainable, that is reduction in material wastage and energy efficiency, and the localized production and carbon footprint reduction, and use of recycled and biodegradable materials. These are the 4 benefits of 3D printing for sustainability, where we seen a very in environmental manner. These 4 are very important benefits which we are getting from the 3D printing for sustainability. So getting into deep of material wastage, which I have explained by comparing with the additive manufacturing, you see here, you see one of the critical advantages minimize material wastage, and certain companies which they are using right now, and they identified that there is a cost saving being happened when you compare with that traditional manufacturing methods. AM means layer by layer, and you see the cost analysis in the right side. We feel there is a cost being saving, and then they are identifying that there is a lot of cost saving being done. And companies like BMW, if you see, implemented AM to produce lightweight components, saving materials, enhancing fuel efficiency. Once your weight of the car increases, once the weight of your car decreases, automatically the fuel efficiency will increase. So they identified, and slowly they have considered the lightweight components. If you see the composite 3D printing, which is one of the advanced technology, they are using a carbon fiber with onyx material or nylon material, and also Kevlar, which is mixed with onyx or nylon material, or HSST, high strength, high temperature materials, which are mixed with the nylon materials, which will get more than strength or more than tensile strength or flexural strength, which we get when compared with the SS material or aluminum materials. So we get the composite 3D printing, which is one of the major advantage which automotive companies have identified. And this, when this they have used with the composite 3D printing, they understood that there is a major lightweighting component where weight of the object is being reduced drastically. So the BMW is one of the major case study which people have started working in. And if you see recent days, almost a lot of 3D printed, which are right now working with the efficiency of fuel efficiency is increasing. And also Bugatti is 3D printing titanium brakes calipers for its Chiroc sports car. Originally a French company forged the calipers for a aluminum alloy. The titanium alloy TI6AL4V version weighs about 40% less and is considerably very stronger when compared to. So the case studies are the one point of case study, which is being, one other case study is brakes, which is being produced with titanium. And same thing, as I explained you, there is a reduction of almost 40% of less weight when considered to the other material. So the material wastage point of view also, you see, traditionally, if you have manufactured, there is a material wastage is there and that cannot be reused, and we need to again energy consumption. Here your component is produced and you are getting very considerably stronger than the part which is being produced previously. So this impact will be huge on the 3D printing area. So next is energy efficiency. If you see in energy efficiency, almost, if you go to the intricate energy efficiency is a cornerstone for sustainability in AM. The technology ability is to produce intricate geometries with less material contributes to the energy spacing. Energy, same thing, material and then energy. If you consider, almost all, if you go to the intricate geometries, you have a lot of energy is being consumed for production of the parts. So when compared to the additive manufacturing, this energy efficiency point of view, almost 15% decrease in the fuel consumption from the single axle machine in the LEAP engine, which is one of the case study which has been, when your component weight is decreased, as I told you about the intricate geometries, less material contributes to the energy saving, where your 15% fuel consumption has been decreased, and up to 15% decrease in fuel consumption is huge for aircraft engines because the cost of fuel is very high. And next is the automotive and aerospace industry. The critical driver efficiency is the critical driver for innovation, where it enables the product of high complex parts that enables overall energy performance. If you see one engine is decreasing by 15%, if you attach maximum some of the parts where we reduce the parts sizes or decrease the parts weight, that will impact the complete system. So that aerospace industry looks at weight of the component directly impacts the socio-economic systems, so not socio, it's economic systems there, where their production of parts is very huge, and for parts being produced will have that cost of parts is huge. So this makes the things very smoother, and this makes the system to work very with same performance which you do for the traditional, but the energy performance will be increasing, which will have a huge impact. So GE LEAP engine, which is one of the case study being shown in the right side, that is courtesy from GE Aerospace Sustainability Report. Almost all GE Aviation LEAP engine produced using AM demonstrates 15% reduction in fuel consumption and 20% CO2 reduced compared to the today's most efficient commercial engines. This is one of the case study which you would like to show. Next is localized production and carbon footprint reduction. This AM has the potential to transform the complete traditional supply chain, offering from on-demand production, localized manufacturing. This can lead to reduced shipping costs, decreased overall carbon footprint. As I've explained in the previous slide, this is EOS, which is one of the 3D printing company, which is right now producing, which is working with Daimler, which is one of the Evo bus, which is being digitally and sustainable spare parts management, decentralized manufacturing to eliminate the long transport routes and manufacturing on demand to avoid overproduction. See, production of the goods is one concept, and then transportation of that particular goods to the assembly station is one more thing. There your energy is being consumed, and there is a lot of pollution is being happening, and then there is this there whatever you see due to the delays of production and goods movement, you do overproduction, which these points are always hitting the things badly. So localized production is one point which which 3D printing is making an impact, and that is indirectly or directly making the carbon footprint reduction, which is reducing the carbon footprint, because your material movement, your supply chain movement, or your movement from one place to another place, and then the damages or insurances, whatever you're covering during the production, and then transportation, and then coming to the final station for manufacturing. So these and all can be reduced if you have the localized production using the additive manufacturing technology. Next is use of recycled and biodegradable materials. This is one important point where I'd like to stress in the sustainability of 3D printing. Reusing of materials is an integrated part of making AM a more sustainable practice. Innovations like HP recycling program for 3D printing materials foster a circular economy, encouraging the recycling of the polymer materials. HP is one of the major 3D printer company where it is producing the technology parts using a technology called multi-jet fusion technology, MJF they call it as, where they are producing the parts very smoothly, and those parts are being used for various drone applications, not only drone applications, various battery applications, EV applications. So whatever parts are being used for certain prototyping purpose, they are now, HP company itself has taken a recycling program where they collect the parts and then recycling the powder, and then they resend the powder back. So we can recycle that powder, and that can be reused for the production of the parts. So the recycling and now biodegradable material is one of the point which the HP has taken up. And then Ford collaborated with HP to recycle the 3D printed waste, transforming what we have been landfill bound materials into a functional, durable prototype parts. This is one of the Ford company, you all know, car producing company, with HP a 3D printing company, which is using the recycled 3D printing waste to produce the automotive or functional or duro auto parts, which are being used for production purposes. This image which you are seeing is 3D printed auto part for recycled waste, which is taken from recycled waste, is being used for 3D printing it. And then this is the plastic recycling. If you see this, this plastic recycling, these materials, whichever we are seeing, these materials, whatever we see, are being recycled. If you say the PLA or PETG or these filament are a UK-based company, manufacturers of a 3D printing filament, made recycled plastics like PET and then PETG, which are those materials. Once the waste, if you see this one, right side of the image is for regular plastic, and this is a reused plastic, which they are taking the materials, and then those reused plastic, they are scrapping it up again, they are producing the filaments from filament extruders, which they are using right now, and they are able to retake the material and then reshape the materials back to the consumption. This is what means they are selling the filament, means they are also asking for the recycled materials back, and they are producing certain circular economy practices, which is very important for future of global warming, where future global warming increases, that will be very dangerous for the human. So this circular economy reduces this impact, and like producing of plastics and these things will reduce the production, and then the wastage also can be decreased. And then if you see, there are certain materials, if you see the powders which are being used for metal binder technology materials, if you see, there are certain super alloys which are being used in binder jetting printing, where the recycling, the alloy will be recycling, these powders will be binder jetting and be metal printing. These can be sorry, 1 second. So these metal printer parts which are being recycled, alloys which are being particularly used in Desktop Metal Company, which is one of the famous company which is used for producing of the 3D printing, 3D printers, is right now using the super alloy, which is specifically dedicated for recycling of the materials, which is company has approved for the company's metal printing platforms, which is being recycled. Like you print with that particular material powder, we take that for the other printings. So this is one of the case study where you have the companies of 3D printing itself taking this initiative to go ahead. So challenges also exist in a sustainability in 3D printing, where we have the challenges where additive manufacturing has the challenges, where we have the impact around for getting the true sustainability in manufacturing techniques. We have material limitations. Around 50% of AM materials are currently non-renewable or challenged to recycle. Still, there is a limitation. If you take certain materials like aluminum or cobalt chrome or certain materials, we are not able to recycle because once they are exposed to the laser or once they are exposed to certain environments, they are not able to recycle it, which is a biggest challenge which AM is facing for reaching to the sustainability goal. And this is a completely biggest barrier which we can feel, because we are not able to do all materials in 3D printing, and but that is definitely a challenging. And coming to the development of new materials for recycling or biodegradable, or finding alternate uses for existing ones, may mitigate these challenges. So this is one of the challenge which we may have it in coming days. Next is energy intensity. Some AM process can be 50 to 100% more energy intensive than traditional manufacturing methods. This is one of the biggest challenge. If you go to the direct energy deposition, where the complete energy is projected on the materials, which may be more energy intensive than the traditional manufacturing. Traditionally, you may getting that particular part with very less electrical consumption or a material consumption. There are certain processes like DED, direct energy deposition, or certain processes where the high energy, high intensity is being used more than the traditional methods, which is always again a challenge for us for moving ahead in the sustainable angle, which we have a challenge in AM for taking it to the next level. Next is not only this is challenging, but the saving which is being done with additive manufacturing, this carbon footprint which is being laser intensive can be higher carbon print, and also the efforts of greenhouse gas emissions and all will go out when compared to this. So the AM process has to be recertified, and companies are still thinking when they are going for certain DEDs or high-end beam or energy being used. Those particular companies or company manufacturers are still thinking, and they are trying to reduce their gas emissions as less as possible. And then investing in energy efficient technologies and utilizing renewable resources can be critical strategies to align AM with sustainable goals. This energy efficient technologies, there are so many people who are working. R&D is also on for energy efficient technologies, which to produce the same part with less energy being evaluated. And this is one of the core area people are also working at, where the sustainable and circular economy is also being taking into the value. And next biggest challenge is regulatory compliance. If you go to the regulations, regulatory compliances, this environmental regulations across different jurisdictions can be complex, and it is very costly also. If you go to the compliance for that particular sustainability or the materials which you have, there are so many harmonizing rules, or various governments have various initiatives, and they do work for the clearance guidance documents. They will ask the people to give certain quality checks or quality documentations, which is different for each country, and there is no a global certification where ASTM and NCAM, we company as government of India, are also working for regulatory compliances, where we are developing the regulatory compliance for medical standards and guideline development. We are working with DNV. Still work is pending, which with Drug Control Authority of India, CDSCO, and collaboratively we are getting certain guidelines documents for various standardizations of various medical devices which are being printed in 3D printing for getting the regular regulatory compliances is one of the challenge which government of India is facing, or globally all are facing. Because for traditional, you have a very clear, smooth regulatory compliance process when compared to the additive manufacturing. Additive manufacturing is a near these days coming new technology which has been invented in 1984. There are no clear compliances where that can have a regulation and going of the certification of the 3D printing products. So this regulatory compliance is also one of the biggest challenge for the sustainability which we are facing right now. And next is lack of standardized tools. If you have if you go to traditional manufacturing, we have a challenge for we don't have these tools. We are lacking of the standardized tools which we use for development of certain guidelines or those things. So these tools and methods which are inconsistent, and measurements and evaluations are there are no standardized methods or tools or inconsistent measures and evaluations, which is being a biggest challenge for us. And then collaborative development of standardized tools, guidelines, and best practices to improve the alignability and alignment and compatibility across the industry is biggest challenge for sustainability implementation in additive. And next is technology accessibility. For sustainability, although we have the aim localized manufacturing opportunities and initial investment, there are so many barriers for small and medium enterprises where they don't want to change from the existing system to the next system, which is biggest challenge which people are working at. And also the training which training, financing, and more things which NCAM is being found for growing this technology accessibility, and only where we this AM sustainability, and we are now working out for the next level of technology accessibility to end-to-end people in India for adopting these benefits of additive manufacturing to make their businesses to grow, to make the people to get aware, and then they make people to earn more jobs in this system. And then coming to the industry initiatives and initiatives and regulations, this global sustainability standards in additive manufacturing. There is a global push for sustainability to development of various standards and regulations, but still, people are not so much adaptive, and then there are still working. There are 3 standards which they have to the majorly 3 standards which we consider is the major standards which we see reducing of the waste, energy consumption, and emissions while improving the circularity of these things. These also the standards. These standards help manufacturers to reduce the waste in the energy area, waste and then emissions. And also framework which initiatives has to be taken, and people are working out for getting the initiative for accessing the environment impact of the 3D printing. And there should be a companies where we have the complete environment impact study, which companies can give a certification for 3D printing companies for circular economy, or maybe the wastage or energy consumptions. So there is a standard which we can look at is ISO 14001 Environmental Management System. This is the standard framework for organizations to manage, reduce their environmental impacts. It includes guidelines on improving the energy efficiency, reducing the wastage, mitigating the environmental effect of manufacturing process. This is including the 3D printing. This ISO 14000, which is one of the major impact being considered, which is one of the ISO standard which is available. And there are many additive manufacturing cannot adopt this standard to ensure their operations are almost as sustainable, and they are growing towards the success on this environmental management system. So coming to ASTM F42, and compared with the committees or other material recyclings or various factors, this committee which is formed for additive manufacturing, especially for committee develops with standards for additive manufacturing, which is being this is the complete material process and machines using this 3D printing technology. There are subcommittees are also formed in F42 committee of ASTM, which is asking for life cycle assessment, material recycling, and environment impact of additive manufacturing. This if ASTM is also making the inputs, now taking the efforts to go into the next level for these particular things. And these standards help ensure that 3D printing technologies are developed in sustainability in mind. So people are working about this F42 committee, which is guiding the people for the standards in additive, will help for the complete environmental impact as well. So there is a recently in 3D printing arena, EU has circular economy action plan. This is comprehensive policy framework which encourages industry to reduce the waste and increase their resource efficiency. This is one of the standard where Europeans have started. And actually the additive manufacturing is also one of the specific measure which is being given, and which includes a specific measure for additive manufacturing, such as promoting the use of recycled materials and ensuring that 3D printing products are designed with recycles or reuse in mind. Because when they are producing these, recycle and reuse also is keeping in mind in the design stage itself will reduce the wastage. And next is EU also supports the funding for research and development in sustainability of 3D printing technology, which is one more other action plans which are taking care. This is the carbon footprint assessment. Important in 3D printing is ISO 14067 for carbon footprint assessment for becoming increasingly important in the 3D printing. And then companies are required to assess and disclose the carbon footprint for their 3D printing products, and also encouraging transparency in the environment impact of manufacturing process. So this is the transparency of companies are required to assess and disclose the carbon footprint for their 3D printing products, and encouraging the transparency in the environment impact of the manufacturing process. So I'd like to move ahead with certain sustainable practices which are already taken care. This is one of the live thing. If you see Adidas, if you go and ask anybody in any Adidas showrooms, they give this Futurecraft 3D printed recycling shoes. This is one of the most prominent companies which has taken care for designing the fully recycled 3D printing footwear. These shoes are 3D printed completely, and these are sustainable alternate, and also algae based filaments for future shoe design. This algae based is nothing but material which algae, what we call it as. This is one of the sustainable alternative which Adidas company has taken, and this is one of the practices which has been taken, and then people have started working on this to go to the next level of it. Next is recyclable materials in the 3D printing. Is one major thing is 100% recyclable ABS, which is being used for the 3D printed vacuum adapters to push the limits of printing. Especially if you see some of the companies where the vacuum sucking materials are there, these are the recyclable ABS materials which can be recycled completely. After 3D printing, we can recycle completely, not like 50% recyclable or 60% recyclable, or we don't have that issue. So that 100%. And then next is recyclable reusable paired with SR30 material, which is a soluble support material produced for using the smooth surface on the final duct. This is the completely a sacrificing tooling which is being used for, soluble support material which is being used completely. The material is support will be soluble in water, and this is recyclable again. So this these are the one of the initiatives or practices which are being adopted by additive manufacturing companies to make this to move ahead. And one more biggest practices is materialize. This is eco-friendly solutions in 3D printing. This materialize is one of the biggest 3D printing software service provider, which is being used for development of design in medical applications, where they use the customized implants and also minimum material and materials and energy. Because Materialize is a platform which is being used for interface between the machine and also 3D printer. For the design and then 3D printer, where maximum and they decrease the minimize the materials and also decrease the energy. This is one. This software itself take this particular initiative to decrease this one. So this is one of the best practices where the sustainability impact is being taken. This is the company which is working majorly for all 3D printers. Materialize this software which is being used. So this itself is working for making this material with the minimum material and then energy. And Material grade also, they are exploring the ways where they can reduce the medical grade materials also, so reducing the waste, and also product performance and safety, which they are working at. This is one of the major initiative material building practice. So if you see HP's complete standout examples of HP's commitment for sustainable design in HP jet fusion air duct. This is one of the component inside the 3D printer itself, where they are using for 3D printer conversion modeling, and they have used this optimized, and then those parts are being recyclable injection modeling. If you see the parts, how many are there? JF part, jet fusion parts consolidated, you see the JF part optimized, you see. So there is a lot of change from one point to other point. You see there is no need for this much injection modeling being done, where the cost reduction and flow improvement has been there, because they have changed the shape from this to this. This is a big initiative where they have the cost reduction, and also the 22% of flow improvement is being seen for the HP jet fusion. So this air duct has a lot of impact on this one. So this is my session for today. I guess maybe I am okay. I'm in time, so I can have any questions if people would like to have any questions on sustainability of 3D printing or other related to any of the 3D printing. Maybe the organizers can open up for.
You can ask your queries. Sir will answer. Please ask if you have any questions.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I'm Dr. Rajshekhar, sir. Chris College of Engineering and Technology, Ongole.
Okay.
Sir, we use some sort of material, the materials, plastic materials for manufacturing, or any devices using this 3D printing, sir. Is there any process of converting the Coca-Cola or any plastic bottle caps or any plastic waste directly into the usable thread, like what we use in 3D printing, sir?
Yeah, they are crushing into the pallet forms, and then there is a company called Nageswara Pro, which is supplying these filament making machines. They are taking the bottles and then crushing it, but the uniformity of the material is different. See, if you see the bottle cap, upper cap is different material, below cap is PETG, upper cap is different material. So you should be very careful. If these two materials are mixed, then the melting point will be differing. There is a very big challenge which is being faced.
Okay.
So better, what is our suggestion would be to differentiate the materials, and then you can use for the you get the extruder which can melt and then form the wire form, and then you can produce you. I think BITS Pilani Hyderabad also has done this research with natural fibers, which they have taken some banana related leaf, I don't remember. They have produced the filaments also, and then they have developed certain components for testings.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Any questions? Participants, you can ask questions. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable presentation and your time, for which you have shared your knowledge to our participants. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Any other questions from chat box, or shall I close it off? The cost of 3D printing, somebody are asking.
Yes, sir.
From 30,000 to 10 lakhs, you have a lot of machines. From plastics, you have 20,000 starting, you can start. And coming to metal machines, it starts from 70 lakhs onwards to 15 crores. Okay. So thank you. I don't remember organizer. I think Pawan, right? Yeah, Pawan. Thank you, Pawan, and also other the coordinators of Sri Datta institutions. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for giving the opportunity.
One more question someone is asking, sir.
What is the maximum volume of object can be made with 3D printing? Right now we have 1.5 meter by 1.5 meter by 1.5 meter available for 3D printing. Hope I have answered this question. Okay. So thank you, Sri Datta institutions. Any questions? You can put a mail across. I'll just type my. I guess I can type, right? I can't type. Maybe my email ID you can share to people, and I think your organizations have the email ID.
Sure,
So
sir.
don't have direct message. Okay, I am putting my email ID. You can directly write to me for any need of 3D printing. All 3D printings can be done from.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir.
You can share to your participants and let me know if you need any queries regarding 3D printing. They can visit our campus if they want to visit about 3D printing. Always welcome for anybody. This is a central government institution, so anybody can visit. It's in the Usmania University beside Engineering College. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm leaving. Thank you. Thank you one and all for attending my session. Thank you.
Dear participants, just stay back for 2 minutes. So at after 6:30, you will get the examination link will be opened in the Atal portal. Yes, you can start your exam after 6:30 p.m. onwards, and in your convenient time, just you can answer the questions, and you can attempt it only one time. It is a single attempt, so without any break. So after 6:30 p.m., just even though after 8 or 9, just you can attempt the questions as per your convenience. And one more thing, the valedictory and the vote of thanks will start at 7 p.m. So what is the last time that not 9 p.m. So like up to 12 o'clock today. So by the end of this day, that is by 11:59 p.m., just you can submit your attempts, but it is only occurring a single time. And one more thing, at 7 a.m., so you are requested to join to share your feedback and also the valedictory function. So the feedback is compulsory. Just all of you try to attend the feedback session. So at 7 p.m. because it is mandatory. So without the feedback session and feedback given by you through the link which is shared in the chat box, so you won't get the complete certificate. And by the end of the day or tomorrow, we'll update the attendance. So attendance and the marks will give you the complete certificate and along with the feedback also. Okay, don't forget to join at 7 p.m. So for your valuable feedback session, and we'll share a link also at the time at 7 to 7:15 p.m. like that. So you have to answer the questions which is given in the feedback link. So that is mandatory. So without feedback link and test, so you won't get the certificate. And by the end of the day, we'll update the attendance also. So after that, you'll get the certificate automatically. And I would like to show something. So if anyone having some doubts, I would like to share my screen. So here is I hope the screen is visible to you. So here on the left hand side, you will have some, just a minute. So we have general details, and there is assessment. So there is some assessment here. So in the assessment, just you have to click the link which is given in the assessment tab, and so after that you will get the test marks here. So there is some test mark tab also. So after completing the test marks and after giving the feedback in the link which we share in the valedictory function. So after that, you will get the certificate in this particular tab, which is at the end of this left tab. Okay. Still, if you got any doubt, just you can ping in the WhatsApp chat. So personally, or just you can chat at the time of valedictory. Okay. So today attendance link will also be shared at the time at 7 to 7:15 p.m. Attendance link and the feedback link. Okay. Thank you. So we can meet again at 7 p.m. so that we can complete our session and the total program also. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you so much.